MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. That's because MediShare works. It has for more than 30 years. It's a community of Christians who have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth. They love the huge PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price in 2 minutes. Here's the number. Just call 855-SHARE-40. That's 855-SHARE 40. 855-SHARE-40.
Thank you for waking us all up out here, for all you do.
Thank you for giving us the voice.
For being out there helping keep the constitutional republic.
I want to thank you for
your support for veterans in the military.
Educating us.
Standing up for conservatism.
Giving us the truth.
Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Well, hey, everybody. Glad you're joining us today on Florida's Voice. My name is Drew Steele. Big D on the other side of the glass. You got Nina in the breaking newsroom, and you hanging out with us at FL Voice News on YouTube, Rumble, X, Facebook, and Instagram. We appreciate it. Wow, what a big day. So the Supreme Court is like, no, you can't tariff no more. That's a little music interlude. Did you know what I was doing there, D? Probably have no idea what I'm talking about.
Don't believe so.
No, that's okay. I think it was a Ringo Starr song. Wasn't it back in the day? No, I don't. Anyway, the point is that the Supreme Court was like, yeah, no, the whole tariffs by emergency decree, yeah, the president can't do that. So it was a highly anticipated decision, and it was one that the Democrats are like, oh, we get to jump all over this. Well, you might want to slow your roll, as the kids like to say on that one. But yeah, the Supreme Court gave its decision in the International Emergency Economic Powers Act decision, and they're saying that it doesn't authorize the president to impose tariffs. Chief Justice Roberts authored the 6-3 decision. Alito, Thomas, and Kavanaugh were the ones that said, we side with the president on this. But a couple of things that we have discovered, because the president just a little while ago talked about this, so we're going to play a bunch of audio in just a second on his thoughts. And look, they're not very worried about it. They haven't been very worried about it. They knew that if something like this was going to happen, to go down, that there were other ways to get this done. Tariffs, that is. Can you imagine that there are countries around the world that are like, yeah, we want our tariff money back. Come on, hand it over. Like, that's what they're thinking. That's what some leftists are thinking today. But the now president gets the opportunity to do something completely different. So you have many people that were looking at the decision, and even Justice Kavanaugh was like, hold on a second, let me just get this straight. So the decision means that the president, as president of the United States, who has the ability to basically go, yep, from now on, no foreign imports. We're not taking one single solitary. Imagine this. The president has the ability to say, we're not taking one single solitary thing into this country from outside of our borders. None. Zero. Zip. Nada. But he can't say, hey, I need a penny for everything you bring in. Can't do that. And that's where Justice Kavanaugh was like, that seems very illogical, as it were. And that's a little part of it. You have the left, who is like, this is a huge victory. Now the tariffs will be gone. They're going to try to make the case that the American people will be paying less. It's all because of the president and his policies that we are in the position we're in when it comes to costs of goods, when there hasn't been much indication economically in the numbers that would show that. But I'll get to that in just a second. But then other people were like, well, hold on, look. Yes, this decision was made by the Supreme Court. He can't do this by emergency decree. But they did say that there are other ways that he can do it, one of which would be through Congress, which obviously trying to get Congress to do anything these days is like, as some would say, it's like pulling teeth. By the way, D, have you ever had teeth pulled? Not surgically removed, but actually pulled out of your head. Like pulled.
No, only surgically.
Yeah, let's just put it this way. I've had people pull teeth out of my head. It stinks. that's really not the word I was thinking of. I was thinking of a different one, but it's a family show. So the president has other mechanisms that he can use to enact this. So before everybody gets all crazy and weird and saying all the things that he can't do, and this is his trouble. And by the way, let me give you a little taste, a snippet, little fun here. You've got, not too long ago, some of the lefty media, I think this was Jan Crawford, CBS News, was talking about the Supreme Court back in December and how when it comes to the Supreme Court, they love Trump. Don't be surprised if the president on the tariff issue or any other issue gets what he wants. Because, it's a conservative Supreme Court, right?
There is a narrative that the Supreme Court is corrupt. I mean, we saw that emerge in the wake of the Dobbs decision that overturned Roe versus Wade. And now we see it that they're in the tank for Trump.
Oh, this is stellar. Thanks to MRC, Media Research Center, doing great work on this. Come on, that's funny, right?
Not only is that narrative over-reported, it is patently false, and it is dangerous for the institution and the public's faith and confidence in the rule of law.
Yeah, so it's a bad thing to say. It's not what we should be doing, but the courts and everything. I mean, it's the Dobbs decision, and it's a conservative Supreme Court. It's been one for 20 years, and so they're in the tank for Trump. Sure about that? I don't think they're in the tank for Trump. So, a couple of other things that popped up on the tariff front today, just a little while ago. We had the president who was being asked questions about what has transpired. But before I get to the president and his thoughts on this, and let's just say, so the president came out with his whole economic team and was there to take questions from the press. And let's just say he's pretty confident that, I hate to break this to you, but we're still going to be able to do this and then some. The and then some is an interesting part of it. Here's Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, who not too long ago was giving a speech and reminding people that maybe you're not understanding how this whole tariff situation works, and the fact that we do have other ways to get this happening if the Supreme Court were to change, make a decision against the emergency decree that the president put with regard to tariffs.
I would also like to take a moment to address today's Supreme Court ruling, and I would note that I did not change a single word in my speech.
Listen carefully about what he's saying here.
Post the ruling. President Trump will always put our national security and Americans first.
That's number one. Always going to put our national security and the country first, okay? Not like some other people.
So what are you saying?
I'm just saying that there may have been some presidents in the past that you're like, hey, do you have the best interest of the American people at heart? I'm not really sure, because I feel like it's... Okay, never mind. Let's just keep going with this here.
And as I have said before, the president has multiple tools in his toolbox. Let's be clear about what today's ruling was and what it wasn't.
Yes.
Despite the misplaced gloating from Democrats, ill-informed media outlets, and the very people who gutted our industrial base, the court did not rule against President Trump's tariffs. 6 justices simply ruled that IEEPA authorities cannot be used to raise even $1 of revenue. This administration will invoke alternative legal authorities to replace the IEEPA tariffs. We will be leveraging Section 232 and Section 301 tariff authorities that have been validated through thousands of legal challenges.
So you're getting all excited out there, all you lefties, about this crashing and burning. It's a funny thing about how the leftists in this country work. They cheer for the demise economically of the country because Trump. Let me say that again. They're cheering that something would go away because Trump is doing it. That is helping the country to be successful, to help our economy, to help the American citizens. This is what you do. Oh, all right, go ahead.
This is what you do.
I know.
What you do.
All right, let Treasury Secretary Bassett finish here.
Treasury's estimates show that the use of Section 122 authority, combined with potentially enhanced Section 232 and Section 301 tariffs, will result in virtually unchanged tariff revenue in 2026.
There you go. All right, so the way that they're looking at it, when it comes to the other tools that we have in our tariff toolbox, I like that, D. Tariff toolbox, the tariff Treasury toolbox talk.
If only B started with a T.
Yeah, that's not very kind. So tariff revenue is going to be unchanged in 26. You like apples? How about them apples? Just putting that out there. So, yeah. So you have the Treasury Secretary who just wanted to make mention of that. And we're going to get to the president's comments on the rest of the story today with tariffs coming up in just a second. But first, why don't we do this? Let's see. Here we go. Transition me. By the way, for those tuning in for the first time, I like transition music in between changing topics on my show, Floater's Voice with Drew Steele. Why? Because, I don't know, Seinfeld did it for a long time. They got away with it, so why can't I? I just did. All right. I wanted to mention this story. You know, I just a few minutes mentioned MRC, Media Research Center, and that clip that we just played a couple of minutes ago. But there's another clip, many clips, that they've been posting. Nick Fondacaro specifically, who is the associate editor at MRC's Newsbusters. He's joining us right now on Florida's Voice on something that I have to talk about because it's been popping up on my feed and it's driving me crazy. And as a homeschool family, when I heard Pamela Brown and CNN, who's talking about, Christian nationalism and doing this whole series which feels like against Christians. And it's like, nah, that's not really what it is. It's something else. And then it's, wait a second. Classical Christian education. That's what I do. That's what I'm doing in my house. Oh, now you got my attention. So Nick's joining us right now on Florida's Voice. Great to hear from you again. How are you, sir?
Thanks for having me on, Drew.
This is crazy. I'm just going to put it out there. All the clips that I've been seeing that you have been posting. And for those that don't know the story about this CNN special project, can you explain to everybody what they've been doing and to what ends they've been going?
Yeah, and just like you, like I've been getting driven up the wall over this too, because even though I went to public school, school choice is a big thing for me, and I'm a proponent for that. So going after what people choose to send their kids to has been like absolutely driving me up the wall, especially the things that they're saying about it. Because right now her special project is supposed to be this thing centered on the rise of Christian nationalism. And she's been putting out teases on the Situation Room and different CNN shows all week. But as much as she claims her special is about Christian nationalism, politics hasn't come up until today's little tease. So basically in previous teases, she's like going after sort of like the traditional Christian family and families who choose to have a wife who is a stay-at-home mom. The husband is the sole provider. The wife takes on a bit more of a submissive role, with the husband being the breadwinner and the chief decision maker. And she is basically going to these people's homes. She sits down with them, and they basically sort of portray or basically the family just sort of upends her notion. She almost goes in there looking for like domestic abuse, but they're like, no, we work out things, we each share our opinions, and he gets the final decision. Yeah. And now she's basically framing these schools as like these little indoctrination centers, turning out Manchurian candidates to fill government positions one day.
Yeah, it's outrageous. So again, as Nick was just mentioning, imagine if not even being submissive or anything, but making a choice, a decision. Imagine a family here. Just take a second, everybody who's listening, and just imagine an American family, no matter who they are. That's the imagination sound effect there, Nick, in case you were frightened. So just imagine for just a second you have a family, and you have a wife who has decided that her vocation, quote unquote, if you will, would be to stay home and raise the children because you are blessed to be able to do so. so you're making enough of an income to be able to do this, or maybe you're willing to make the sacrifice because you understand how important it is to raise children and to be able to have them in your home, to be blessed to be able to do it, and to have that control so you can keep some of the woke craziness that's in public school systems out of your house. This is what you have chosen to do. They, CNN, Pamela Brown, this Christian nationalist whole thing that they've got going on here in this series, looks at that as like, how could you possibly make this decision? This is outrageous. Oh, we see what you're doing. What are we doing? What do you mean? That? And then also the homeschool issue. Of course, we live in the state of Florida, Nick, and here we enjoy school choice. Like, that is a big, big thing for us. School choice is incredible. And then we come to find out that there's a part of a clip that you had posted on your account, Nick Fondacaro, at Nick Fondacaro there on X, where they had someone from the Association of Classical Christian Schools, the president, and she just couldn't understand why he was pushing this. And she kept trying to make it seem like, again, that we're raising people with Christian values and we want to put them in power. And that's a problem. I mean, Nick, am I crazy? It was outrageous the way she was talking about this.
Yeah, and it's funny you should bring that up. I'm actually working on a piece right now, and I have the transcript in front of me. Like, she basically, one of her first questions. So, are these classical Christian schools a vehicle to create a more Christian world? Well, obviously it is, because that's why you want to send your kids to either, if it's like classical children's school, or if you're Catholic, like a Montessori, something like that. That's obvious. And then one of her other questions is basically, like, what do you want your students to do in life? And he says, live faithfully wherever they are. And then her follow-up question is like, would you like to see them in positions of power, like in the government? And he basically shrugs and he goes, yeah, we'd be glad if they get there.
Yeah.
And which is what an administrator at any school, secular, religious, charter, Montessori, public, private, any administrator would say, we would like to see our students do well.
Of course you would. And, let's forbid that we would ever want to have people in power with virtue. We would never want that. That would be, Nick, that would be terrible for the United States. Horrible. This was so outrageous. Is there more? Is there more coming? Are they finally done with this? Was this like a week-long takedown?
So basically, these were all just teases leading up to an hour-long documentary that's going to air on Sunday night.
Oh my!
So they've been putting out basically 7, 8 to 10-minute little snippets of this thing. It's going to be weird to see how much of it's actually left that they haven't actually teased ahead of time. But yeah, so there's going to be like a whole hour-long little smear piece. Wow. That's going to get released on Sunday. We'll see. We'll be covering it here at Newsbusters, trying to see what stuff they haven't brought up yet that they're going to try to squeeze in here.
Yeah, what a mess. All right, Nick, listen, last minute, I know I reached out to you, so I appreciate you coming on Florida's Voice. And by the way, if anybody wants to get more information about what you guys do such incredible work. I love MRC and Newsbusters. You all are fantastic. So if people can want to find out more about your work and what you all are doing, where can they go?
They can go to mrc.org or newsbusters.org to read our blog and all of the studies and the different things we cover. And if they like our work, we are a charitable we are an education nonprofit that they can donate, and we are tax deductible.
Awesome. All right, Nick, great to hear from you. All the best. God bless. We'll see you soon. Okay.
You too. Thanks for having me on.
All right. That's Nick Fondacaro from Newsbusters MRC. Yeah, just I was like, you got to be kidding me. I just wanted to talk about that for a minute, if you don't mind. All right, now we move on. Before we get to break, play a little bit of the president's reaction to the Supreme Court decision 6-3 that the emergency decree was not the way that the president could push tariffs as he has done, but there are other tools in the toolbox, even admitting that there are other things that he can do. So here's a little bit of the president and what he said about this.
Unfair question. They take months and months to write an opinion, and they don't even discuss that point. We've taken in hundreds of billions of dollars, not millions, hundreds of billions of dollars, And so I said, well, what happens to all the money that we took in? It wasn't discussed. Wouldn't you think they would have put one sentence in there saying that keep the money or don't keep the money, right? I guess it has to get litigated for the next 2 years. So they write this terrible, defective decision, totally defective. It's almost like not written by smart people. And what they do, they don't even talk about that. Your question is very basic. That was the first question I asked also to make you feel good. I said, what about all the money that we've taken in? Sir, they don't discuss that. How crazy is that?
How crazy is that? They didn't discuss it. So what do we do with the money? Well, the left is going to tell you exactly what has to happen. What has to happen, follow this logic, because I'm not wrong. I'm wrong a lot, but I don't think I'm wrong about this. Follow the logic. The most pain against this president and this administration as possible. What does that look like? And by default, pain to you as well. So what does the left want after this decision? I don't know. What does it mean to take $900 billion that's already been brought in with the tariffs and have to give it back, quote unquote? I don't know, but you better figure it out because the left is all about the most pain they can cause to this administration and by default you. There's no doubt. And one other thing before we go to break, the president said about the Supreme Court decision.
Are we financially defenseless
right now? No,
now?
because we're doing something in a different way. We're doing something in a very powerful way. And we're using things that some people thought we should have used in the first place. But it's more complicated. It's a little more complicated. The process takes a little more time. But the end result is going to get us more money. And I think it's going to be great. Yeah.
All right, so it's going to get us more money. It's going to be great. And look, one other thing before we go to break, because there's more on this story. It's the biggest story of the day, no doubt. And the president talking about it. You know that once this went to the Supreme Court, you know that the president and his team started to look at Plan B. They already, probably when they presented the Plan A, they were ready for Plan B. Like, what are we doing next? And so, all right, it's going to be Plan B. So what does that look like? We'll have some more of the audio from the president coming up. Reporters asking, will you not honor companies asking for tariff refunds? What did the president say about companies asking for refunds on tariffs? What about some of what the Democrats already started up with? Well, this is what a king does. Don't you see why we do no kings? Because this president thinks he's a king. They're already rolling with that. I'm not kidding. And so, who is it? Hakeem Jeffries who came up with that? We'll have the comment from the president of the United States on that in just a little bit. Plus, Susan Rice back in the news again. Susan Rice was the UN ambassador for a while. She was also national security advisor to Barack Obama around during the Trump-Russia collusion hoax and the Benghazi hoax. I mean, all of these different things. Benghazi was real, but the hoax of it was all about a movie. No, it wasn't about a movie. Yeah, she's back in the news for all the wrong reasons. We'll have that coming up in just a bit. Top of the news as well.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
You know, a lot of times you have to choose between something high quality or something that saves you money. But if you could get both, why not? Especially when it comes to healthcare, and that is MediShare. You get both. Many families save $500 a month with MediShare, and that's huge. But it's also true that people wind up way more satisfied, too. The member satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. That's because MediShare works. It has for more than 30 years. It's a community of Christians who have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth. They love the huge PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price in 2 minutes. Here's the number. Just call 855-SHARE-40. That's 855-SHARE-40. 855-SHARE-40.
Hey,
Hey Max, you look absolutely dashing in that purple tie. Ready to harness the world?
You bet, Daisy. I'm ready as I'll ever be. And might I say, your purple tie really pops with your vest.
Thanks. I almost went with a cape, but didn't want to come across as pretentious.
Nonsense. Anyone in our line of work should rock a cape.
You might be onto something, Max.
Phew, so here we go. First day on the job. We've got this, right?
Right. Don't forget, we both graduated from Dogs Inc. with honors.
Which means I can guide my human around a busy city with ease.
And I can give my human a restful night.
I hope my human is kind and loving.
And I hope mine likes wet kisses and zoomies.
Ready to make a difference?
Born ready. Let's go.
Discover how extraordinary dogs like Daisy and Max change lives at no cost to the recipients. Visit dogsinc.org.
After my injury, I lost my sense of purpose.
I lost the ability to tuck my daughters into bed.
Homes for Our Troops build specially adapted homes with features that allow our veterans to function independently and focus on their recovery and family. This life-changing gift of freedom is provided mortgage-free thanks to our donors and supporters.
Homes for Our Troops gave me a home where I can be a dad.
Homes for Our Troops gave me a brighter future.
We need you to join us too in completing this important mission. Learn more at hfotusa.org.
I'm Chris Jakovic. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. Being a veteran, it's interwoven into your DNA. It is really the absence of the connection and the purpose that can really drive a lot of veterans to some negative thoughts. For those who are in a suicidal crisis, the window of time to save somebody's life is very short. Our duty is to protect ourselves and protect our families. And one way you can do that is store your weapons safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Since the dawn of time, man and wildlife have shared a connection. And hunting traditions passed down from generation to generation have connected man to the natural world. From bow and arrow to hook and bullet, as man evolved, our link to those traditions remains. Yet today, our basic instinct to provide and as part of the hunt, to conserve and appreciate the natural world has fallen under attack for the first time in human history. Misguided politicians and radical activists pushing an agenda to end hunting as we know it are leading a war against our heritage. In their misguided policies and protests, they demonize hunters and belittle our way of life. The result? Hunters leaving the sport in droves while our wildlife and ecosystems suffer the consequences as conservation funding dries up. Named after the father of the North American model for wildlife conservation, the International Order of T. Roosevelt is fighting in the arena to protect and expand the rights of hunters everywhere. We will fight back against these forces to make sure that every American has a right to hunt, enshrined in their state constitutions. We will educate the next generation in our traditions and seek to expand accessibility so that everyone can enjoy our pastimes. And we will continue to hold true to our namesake's efforts to protect, preserve, and ensure open access to our nation's wildlands. Teddy Roosevelt's vision for American conservation defines our modern hunting and conservation system. A system upheld by the idea that conservation efforts are crucial to our hunting way of life, and that hunters are crucial to successful conservation.
Hey, it's Drew Steele. Look, are you still playing defense with your money? It's time to shift gears and seize the fresh opportunities this new pro-business environment has to offer. That's exactly what certified financial planner professional Alfie Townsend and the team at Advantage Retirement Group do for high net worth investors like you, helping you go on the offense with advanced tax strategies, thoughtful risk management, and forward-thinking financial planning. Imagine enjoying the retirement lifestyle you've worked so hard to achieve, all while staying one step ahead, and in a changing world, you've got to do it. Alfie and his team design personalized strategies to strengthen your financial foundation so you can focus on living life on your terms. Ready to find out more? Text VISIT to 239-747-7470. Again, you can call or text 239-747-7470. Schedule your one-on-one consultation today and see how a proactive approach can help you thrive no matter what the market does next. Don't wait. Call or text VISIT to 239-747-7470 right now.
Now, back to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
All right, anytime you want to watch it, FL Voice News on YouTube, Rumble, X, Facebook, and Instagram. And anytime you want to call, 866-588-8303 is the phone number. 3 to 6 p.m. live, Monday through Friday. You want to check out the program, by the way, streaming live, drewsteele.com, the website, Steele has 3 E's. You can go there. Or Florida's Voice with Drew Steele, the podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, wherever you get it after the show. All right, top of the news from the Florida's Voice newsroom.
Top of the news, Florida's headlines.
Now. Nita Padilla is in the Florida's Voice newsroom. She's got the latest. Let's see what's up. What's up?
Hey there, Drew. Lawmakers in Tallahassee have been very busy. I'll tell you what they've been up to in just a moment. But first, topping the news, President Donald Trump says he is directing the Pentagon and other federal agencies to identify and release files related to UFOs and extraterrestrial life, citing what he calls, quote, tremendous interest. The announcement follows comments from former President Barack Obama, who said he's seen no evidence of alien contact, but the odds suggest that life could exist somewhere in the universe. The Pentagon has previously said it found no evidence of extraterrestrial beings, despite hundreds of unidentified aerial phenomena reports. Well, federal authorities are seeking to strip former North Miami Mayor Philip Benamy of his citizenship here in the United States. The Justice Department alleges that he obtained naturalization through identity fraud. They claim he's the same person previously ordered deported under a different name and that he never left the country.
What?
His attorney says they are reviewing the filing and will respond through the courts.
Wow.
All right, now let's go to Tallahassee. The Florida House has approved a $113.6 billion state budget for the 2026-2027 fiscal year. Lawmakers say the plan spends about $2 billion less than the current year while maintaining nearly $12 billion in reserves. That proposal, by the way, includes major funding for education, healthcare, transportation, and environmental projects. We've got all the details on our webpage if you want to head over there. But now, just to let you know, the House and the Senate, now they have to reconcile the differences that they have before the new fiscal year begins. And of course, the Senate is doing their hard work today. And of course, we'll have more on our webpage for that. All right, that's it for now. I'll be back in our next hour to tell you about a Central Florida man who is behind bars. And this is after a statewide child exploitation investigation. I'll tell you how a cyber tip led agents to an Okeechobee home and what investigators say they found on a seized computer. I'll have that story coming up at 4:35. I'm Anita Padilla, the news director here at Florida's Voice. Drew, back over to you.
All right, AP, we appreciate you there in the Florida's Voice newsroom. And anytime you want to check out the stories that they are working on, you just go to flvoicenews.com, the website, and it's all right there. Hey, D, real quick, before we move on, this whole thing about the president and the releasing of anything that has to do with UFOs and the whole alien thing. And obviously, it's Barack Obama who started all this trouble because he decided to go on some lefty podcast and tell everybody, well, you know, they're real and they might be real. And, oh, by the way, Area 51, you know, there's no aliens there. There's no underground thing going on there as well. It's like, anything else you want to tell us? Anything else? And the president's like, I might have to save him, right? Don't we have that clip? Didn't he say that? He specifically said, like, I might have to save the president because of what he said.
I have an opinion on it. I never talk about it. A lot of people do. A lot of people believe it. Do you believe it, Peter?
Well, the president can declassify anything that he wants to. So if you want to make an announcement,
I may get him out of trouble by declassifying.
Yeah, he's got to get him out of trouble by declassifying. And so there you go, the president talking about that today. You know what I'm thinking, D? I'm worried about what we might find. What if we find out that certain people maybe in Congress are actually aliens or
got the smallest, thinnest neck I've ever seen.
I'm just saying, you know, like Adam Schiff. Like, could that happen? Is it possible? No, is that a stretch?
Anything is possible.
Anything is possible these days. It could be. All right, that was weird. All right, let's move on to something else. How about we move on to something positive? Some good news that's out there. Can you imagine, first of all, for example, if any other person were president of the United States during our 250th, Can you even imagine that?
It's not Kamala. It's not Kamala. It's Kamala. Kamala Harris.
No. Because I can't imagine what kind of woke stuff would be happening. So anyway, in the meantime, we don't have to worry about that. So there's some peace in your heart and in your soul. And there's some great events and things that are happening in the lead up to our 250. And Elizabeth Pipko is joining us right now on Florida's Voice. She's a former GOP National Press Secretary with some great news and things that are happening with regard to that. It's Drew Steele. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Oh, we're fantastic over here. I mean, we live in Florida, so obviously everything
exactly.
Everything is great. Of course it is. So this could be the coolest thing that I've heard about. One of the coolest things I've heard about. So tell me more about what's happening with regard to freedom250.org and this mobile truck museum. This sounds like this is a brilliant idea. I love this.
I'm glad you do. I very much agree. So as you said, it is obviously America's 250th birthday this year. And apart from obviously a major celebration on July 4th, we're actually celebrating all year long. And one of the fun things that we're doing are these freedom trucks that you mentioned. We're going to have 6 total. They're called basically mobile museums, and they're museums where you step in basically and you get an entire history on our incredible country, where we basically came from, how we defeated the British Empire, basically how we secured American sovereignty 250 years ago, and everything that's happened since then. So many things for young people, old people, anyone to be proud of. So these trucks are going to be all around the country, but today one of those trucks arrived in Boca Raton, Florida. So we're celebrating in Florida, one of the greatest states, of course, around. It's on FAU's campus, and we're really excited for people to go and check that out this weekend.
By the way, I just was watching on the screen the truck. It's a pretty big truck. I mean, there's a lot there. You know, I don't know what anybody's thinking, but it looks like there's a whole lot in there. And it looks fantastic. So this is something that obviously, as you described, you know, we're getting an early start on this, and it'll be traveling around. Is it going to be stopping in any other places in the state, or will this be after this we just go around the country?
So this is the second stop in Florida already. Oh. Obviously, we're going to hit every other state. We have a whole list of things to do. But if you go to freedom250.org, you can keep track, because we are going to be listing not only future stops, but adding more and more stops as the trucks go around the country over the next year.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I know. And I'm serious about this, too. You know, as I opened up the segment, half joking about how amazing it is that this president is the president that will be in charge and doing all of these fantastic things, because I couldn't imagine it any other way. Because, you know, if the president's going to do this, it's going to be big. And getting an early start, it's so fantastic to see, you know?
No, I completely agree. We're so excited about it, and I think now is the perfect time. People are obviously divided. Things are really crazy and polarized in the country right now, and there's probably nothing that can bring us together more so than just celebrating how much we love America, because it doesn't matter truly who you voted for, where you come from. What matters is that you are proud to be an American, and I so much am. I'm the daughter of 2 immigrants. There's nothing that I am more excited about than the fact that I'm even alive and here in the country during what will be the 250th birthday for our incredible country. So I'm thrilled. But like you said, it's a really, really exciting time. We have a president who wants the biggest party the world has ever seen, the biggest possible celebration.
As it
Obviously,
should be.
These trucks, exactly. Obviously, these trucks are super exciting, but there's also going to be the Great American State Fair. We've got an incredible fireworks show planned for July 4th. There's a National Day of Prayer coming up. We have those Patriot games in the fall. There's so many exciting things. More are going to be announced, but this is the party that America deserves, and I'm hoping it's the party that the American people can really, really get excited about, because we deserve something to be really, really excited about.
Yeah, and one other thing before we go, and I might just add this, you know, sometimes when, for example, you know, the museum that's there in Boca, sometimes we need to be reminded of our history. You know, you get the chance to see, and there are things that we forget about. We get so caught up in the moment, in the here and now, and some of the divisive rhetoric, for example, that's out there. And we tend to forget about our history, about how we got to this place and the things that brought us together. So I think that's a big part of what this museum offers as well.
I completely agree. And it's also a fun way to get people to learn that history, right? So many young people don't want to pay attention to where we came from and how we got to where we are. America's a young country that's accomplished a hell of a lot, let me tell you. And this is probably the best way for people to get in there to celebrate our history and to learn a little something, because there's always something to learn about our great country. And there's always a way to get excited about the future as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So if people want to find out more about the museum stops possibly coming up or any of the other events, website, where can they go?
Yeah, so they should head to FAU's campus this weekend to see that truck in person if they can in Boca Raton. Otherwise, they should head to freedom250.org to learn all about what we have planned for the next few months.
Fantastic. All right, Elizabeth, this was great. I'm glad you had a few minutes to stop by. All the best. God bless, and we'll see you soon, okay?
Thank you.
All right. That is Elizabeth Pifko joining us on Florida's Voice, former GOP National Press Secretary. Yeah, the museum is cool. And it's big. So great to see. So if you're there in Boca, FAU campus, definitely go check it out. All right. Wow, there's so many. Yeah, I know there's so many clips right now of the president from a little earlier today, not too long ago, as the announcement came about the tariffs and the 6-3 decision by the Supreme Court obviously doesn't agree. And the tools in the toolbox to be able to continue with tariffs and some of the other things that are, it was inevitable. It was inevitable that you were going to have the left talk about the president being a king. No kings. We had a no kings. Well, seriously, the no kings thing is like, sorry, to me, it's just silly. The whole thing was silly. He's not a king. Stop. But we don't want king. We don't have one. Anyway, so you have reporters asking about Hakeem Jeffries because, you can't let, what was it? Wasn't it, was it Panetta or somebody that it may have been Hillary Clinton or around the early days of Barack Obama as president, talking about not letting a crisis go to waste. I think it was Hillary, right? No, I don't know. So anyway, of course, this seems like a crisis. It's not, but you have reporters asking about what Hakeem Jeffries said.
Republicans in Congress have supported this decision by the Supreme Court. And Hakeem Jeffries, the Democratic leader, has called you a wannabe king.
Why wouldn't him a low IQ? But why wouldn't he? Doesn't even know. And I watched him the other day interview. The guy doesn't even know what a tariff is.
But there's been bipartisan criticism.
No, not bipartisan.
Of the tariff.
Excuse me.
There's several Republicans have said that.
Yeah,
but why wouldn't you just work with Congress to come up with a plan?
I don't have to
push tariffs.
I have
through?
the right to do tariffs, and I've always had the right to do tariffs, and it's all been approved by Congress. So there's no reason to do it. All we're doing is we're going through a little bit more complicated process. Not complicated very much, but a little more complicated than what we had. We'll be able to take in tariffs, more tariffs. And the Congress people and the Congress,
the Canadian.
Wow, can you stop? Hey, can we get that guy to stop? D, can you shut his mic off? Like, what's
Can
up
I?
with-
No.
No, I know. But I wish you could. I wish you had the power to control microphones other than mine. That's what I wish. like the White House, the press corps there. Like that guy, he just wouldn't stop. He wasn't going to take no for an answer. So there was that, and one other thing before we go was, we just have a break. And this was just funny. So then the press pivots to, well, hold on a second. You're going to invite the Supreme Court, the members, the 6 that voted against this, to the State of the Union? Like, really? Did you just ask me that?
Mr. President, the Supreme Court justices who ruled against this the policy, striking it down, are they still invited to your State of the Union next week? And will you speak with them?
they are invited, barely. Barely. 3 are happily invited. No, they're barely invited.
Listen, I think that's funny because it's a ridiculous question. Because that's what the left would do. The left is about canceling. The left's the ones that would say, yeah, we don't want you showing up here. We don't want you to be here at the State of the Union. This is the same Democrat Party that had Nancy Pelosi leading the way in ripping up the president's speech, if you remember. So just saying. Anyway. All right, more to come. Let's take a break. My name is Drew Steele. This is Florida's Voice.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Did you know VA home loans are a key to home ownership for those who served?
The first moment I walked into my home, I could hear my footsteps echo off the back wall. The first thing I thought in my head was, man, furniture is going to be real expensive. The VA not requiring any down payment prior to buying the home allowed me to take that money I had budgeted to go out and buy furniture, food, cleaning supplies, pretty much everything I needed. Purchasing a home is scary, but ultimately it's not impossible, and they make it so that anybody can do it.
To learn more, visit va.gov/home loans.
For 25 years, the Library of Congress Veterans History Project has collected and preserved the experiences of America's heroes. From original letters to oral histories, these first-hand accounts bring history to life, one voice at a time. With over 120,000 stories collected, each reveals the courage, sacrifice, and service of our veterans, but many remain untold. Help our nation reach 125,000. Share a story. Ensure a legacy. Visit loc.gov/vets today.
You know, a lot of times you have to choose between something high quality or something that saves you money. But if you could get both, why not? Especially when it comes to healthcare, and that is MediShare. You get both. Many families save $500 a month with MediShare, and that's huge. But it's also true that people wind up way more satisfied, too. The member satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. That's because MediShare works. It has for more than 30 years. It's a community of Christians who have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth. They love the huge PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price in 2 minutes. Here's the number. Just call 855-SHARE-40. That's 855-SHARE-40. 855-SHARE-40.
When I was 19 and I was going to shows, I was not thinking about permanent hearing loss. I wasn't thinking about tinnitus.
Sometimes my kids are having a conversation with me and that ringing starts in my ear. They're talking to me and I hear their voice, but I can't focus on what they're saying.
The audiologist, he told me that most of his clients are not old people. They're kids that have their earphones in.
I have a lot of regret about not protecting my ears sooner.
Protect your ears at all times, no matter what. It's not something you can get back.
Some journeys start small, with small pause and big purpose.
Look how little you are, you sweet girl.
Every great partnership begins with the first step.
Yeah, let's go.
Guiding them through the world so one day they can guide someone through life. With shared experience, confidence grows, and the path becomes clear. It takes time, patience, and love. But the reward lasts a lifetime.
Hey, good girl, Dad.
You don't just raise a puppy. You raise a future. Become a Dogs Inc. puppy raiser. Give a dog a purpose. Give someone hope.
Learn more at dogsinc.org.
Hey, it's Drew Steele. Listen, I've lived in Southwest Florida long enough to know that when I needed countertops, you go to the best. Who's the best? Rock Solid on J&C Boulevard in Naples. First of all, Rock Solid's consultants, I wasn't really sure what I wanted, but I knew that they were knowledgeable, gave me all the information I needed to make the best decision. I love that fabrication is done on premises. It's not like they're subbing out the job to some third party, right? If you're looking for countertops, backsplash, you know where to go. Rock Solid, J&C Boulevard, Naples.
Now, back to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
I wouldn't even realize it sometimes. I'll just go to tell one of my sons to get a coconut, and they're like, the rack's not there. We feel disrespected, we feel violated.
It's an invasion of private property. I would be more concerned about the trespassing aspect.
Setting yourself up for potential serious crime if you trespass, someone who might mistake what you're doing on your property, and it could result in something even fatal.
All right, so this is a quintessential Florida story that everybody who's listening to the sound of my voice across great affiliates here in the state of Florida or watching at FL Voice News on YouTube, Rumble, X, and Facebook around the globe can appreciate. This is so Floridian. Okay, D, you buckled up and ready? Here we go.
Not buckled up, but I'm ready.
All right, well, buckle up. Residents in Hollywood have reported incidents of a dude removing coconuts from their private residences. And it's not just a guy who like climbs up the tree or he's got something in his hand and trying to pull them down. Some people have caught him with a cherry picker, driving up to people's houses to take down the coconuts. Now, that is the neighbors who, most of them are like, this is dangerous. This guy's driving up to my neighborhood. He's taking the coconuts off my property. And there are people that are like, listen, I want those coconuts. I eat those coconuts. My kids love the coconuts. And it's funny to me because you see the coconuts on people's property. And I cannot tell you how many times, you have like in HOAs, you have landscape people that come and they just take them down. You just get rid of them. You'll see trucks filled with coconuts in the back because the landscapers take them out. And so you have on the one hand, people that are freaking out because, hey, you're taking my coconuts. You have in the middle where there are people that like this is dangerous. You're on private property. You can't just go up there with a cherry, not just like a stick, but a cherry picker. And it's like driving it right up to the property. He's like, yeah, I'll take these. And then there's the other side, that's like, take all you want. I don't want them on there anyway because soon they're going to drop and I don't want them dropping on me and I don't want them. So that is just the quintessential Florida story, D. That's all I'm saying.
That's pretty Florida.
If you've lived in the state long enough, you know the story. And I just thought it was funny because people freaking out about it. And most people would be like, please, just get them out of here. But that's all. It's just one of those interesting Florida stories that I really like. All right, what else we got? Stories I like, some stories I don't. Let's see, how much time do we have? Well, we don't have a whole lot of time. I noticed this yesterday. Byron New York put this up on his X account. And this was from a couple of days ago. And you know how Colbert's in the news and the whole thing about the Senate candidate, Tallarico, from Texas, and seems like he's the darling right now of the party. And Colbert's got him on, but needs to have equal time to have Jasmine Crockett because there's a primary going on, and she's like a little upset about the fact that she's not getting the time, and they wanted to make it seem like it was Trump, but it wasn't, and they're also trying to make it seem like it's equal time all the time. Like any of these late night shows have Republicans on, for example, and they don't. Jimmy Kimmel's doing a fundraiser for Hakeem Jeffries. How do you do that? Like, that seemed, I don't know. So you're trying to convince people that you're a late night talk show, funny show, like a haha funny, come here and, we don't do politics, but yet it's like it's all you do is politics, but you're middle of the road and you're not a news organization, but you're acting like one, and you want to be treated like one, but you're not one. And then you end up fundraising for Democrats. Tell us how we're not right about how partisan you all are. Yeah, keep trying. Wow.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
My name is Corporal Bradley Joseph Seitz.
Jerry Reed.
Kate Weber.
These are real veterans facing a real challenge.
I have PTSD.
And I have PTSD.
I have PTSD.
Post-traumatic stress disorder can happen to anyone.
I was still in a war zone in my mind.
But treatment can turn your life around.
Treatment has really saved my life.
To learn about PTSD and how treatment can help you, call your local VA medical center or visit ptsd.va.gov.
The best words to hear at the TSA security checkpoint? You're good to go. So check before you jet. Avoid delays at TSA security checkpoints by making sure you have an acceptable form of ID. That means a real ID, passport, or other acceptable forms of identification.
Visit tsa.gov/ID to check the full list of acceptable IDs. Avoid travel delays by checking ID requirements, and you're good to go.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele. Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Congratulations on your show.
Congratulations on your new show. Big deal, huh?
That's why shows like yours are so important.
We have an independent county elected sheriff that's the head of law enforcement in Jacksonville/Duval County. And I know how to work toward making this city safe.
We can't be shy about speaking on things such as faith and politics. We have to remember, in a free society, the public square belongs to all of us.
I'm not interested in North Florida looking like Orlando or Miami. I love where we live, but I think that good jobs means that people that live in this district can stay in this district.
Fishing and hunting is funding a large part of your conservation projects in Florida, and we want to make sure that those are forever preserved.
And the problem with this industry at this point is that they actually target our youth. You can see it in their marketing strategies, where it's bright colors, fun names.
And that's going to be endlessly litigated.
Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
What does life after service look like? Kicking back? Taking it easy? We believe it looks a little different. Fighting for all veterans. Making sure they get the benefits and care they've earned. Rebuilding communities after disaster strikes. And adapting to support today's veterans. Meeting them where they are. The VFW. Still leading. Still advancing. Still serving. Get involved at stillserving.org.
I can trace family members who served from World War I to today, each one helping shape who I am. My family chose to share their stories with the Library of Congress Veterans History Project. Voices, letters, and memories that bring their service to life. Searching for their stories was easy. You can discover powerful stories too, told through the voices of America's veterans. Explore, remember, and share at loc.gov/vets.
Half of young adults are at risk of hearing damage from loud sounds. So why is this happening? We know not to bake in the sun for hours and to get our eyes checked regularly. We buckle up to save lives. And we know that smoking kills. So do poor diet choices and poor life choices. But why are we so reckless with our hearing? We take hearing for granted. Hearing damage from loud sounds is permanent, but preventable. We take common sense steps for our health every day. Let's make hearing part of it. Wear earplugs. Turn it down. Give your ears a rest. Love your ears. Learn more at hearinghealthfoundation.org. Keep listening.
Hey, it's Drew Steele, and I have to tell you, when my wife and I talked about getting new kitchen countertops for our house, we know who to call. Rock Solid Countertops and More, 2240 JNC Boulevard in Naples. And they have been absolutely amazing. Hugo and the team are the best. The workmanship has been absolutely incredible. The install was so easy. The process was perfect. Taking everything out, bringing the new stuff in. The quartz countertop is unbelievably beautiful, and my wife is super happy, I'll tell you. You know they have the best quality and selection of marble, quartz, granite, and a one-stop shop for all of your kitchen, outdoor, and bathroom needs. I've known it for years. I've lived in Southwest Florida 40 years. There was really only one place I was going to go. It's Rock Solid Countertops and More. I would suggest you give them a call, 596-7676. They're at 2240 JNC Boulevard in Naples. Find out what they can do for you. Countertops, cabinets, plantation shutters, they do it all. Rock Solid Countertops and More.
The other day, a man called saying my electric was way past due. He threatened to turn off my power if I didn't buy a gift card to pay the bill. I said, look, fella, I wasn't born yesterday. Gift cards are for gifts, not for paying bills, and I'm sure as heck not buying you a gift. So I hung up on the crook, and my lights never went out. Know the signs of scams and leave scammers in the dust. If someone asks for a gift card as payment, it's likely a scam. A public service message from the Better Business Bureau.
We all have someone we love, like the favorite lyric in our favorite song. You can't imagine life without them. Cancer screening tests can help keep the person you love around longer by detecting changes before cancer develops, or catch it early when it may be easier to treat. And many tests are available for free or covered by insurance. It's time to sound like a broken record. Tell all your friends and family, I love you. Get screened. Visit cancer.org/getscreened to learn more.
You know, a lot of times you have to choose between something high quality or something that saves you money. But if you could get both, why not? Especially when it comes to healthcare, and that is MediShare. You get both. Many families save $500 a month with MediShare, and that's huge. But it's also true that people wind up way more satisfied, too. The member satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. That's because MediShare works. It has for more than 30 years. It's a community of Christians who have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth. They love the huge PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price in 2 minutes. Here's the number. Just call 855-SHARE-40. That's 855-SHARE-40. 855-SHARE-40.
Thank you for waking us all up out here, for all you do.
Thank you for giving us a voice.
For being out there helping keep the constitutional republic. I want to thank you for your support for veterans in the military. Educating us. Standing up for conservatism. Giving us the truth.
Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Well, hey, everybody. Glad you're joining us today on Florida's Voice. My name is Drew Steele. Big D on the other side of the glass. You got Nina in the breaking newsroom and you hanging out with us at FL Voice News on YouTube, Rumble, X, Facebook, and Instagram. We got a lot of Florida stories to talk about, I believe. Scheduled to join us, State Representative Judson Sapp at 4:40. Is that correct, D? I just didn't check.
Scheduled 4:40.
Scheduled 4:40. And, of course, top of the news, there's a lot going on here in the state, including the Florida House passing a $113 billion budget for 26-27 after approving the Homestead Tax Amendment bill. So they're moving quickly. It includes $21 billion for K through 12. It includes $8 billion in higher education funds. It includes $49 billion in healthcare and a reworked $6 billion emergency preparedness fund, and that's heading over to the Senate. So there are a lot of details that we probably need to dig into momentarily on that. So that's coming up. We'll have that conversation. Busy up in Tallahassee. It's almost as if they want to get everything across the finish line on time because they know that there's going to be an extended session, possibly in more ways than one. Not just the issue of the property taxes and whether or not we might have to go to a special to figure out what that amendment's going to look like. But of course, you have the district issue and drawing the maps and all kinds of different things that are going on. So it's quite busy in Tallahassee. We like it. We like that things are moving forward quickly. And we'll see what happens with this Homestead Tax Amendment bill and whether or not this is something that the Senate agrees with, if the governor agrees with it. We'll see. All right. Some of the stories that are out there. We got so many stories out that are going on right now. Let me touch on this. Coming up in a little bit, we'll talk more about the tariffs, what the president said today. Of course, the Supreme Court saying 6-3 decision that the president can't do the emergency decree on tariffs the way he's been doing it. So do we have to give money back? How are we going to do this now? Is the president just going to give up? Of course he's not. So all of that on the way. But let's get to some of the other stories that are out there today, including how Democrats have already figured out what their move is going to be once they gain power again. And unfortunately for the United States of America, the left will one day have power in this country. They will have the presidency and the House and Senate, but hopefully not too soon. And hopefully we can keep them away from the gates for a very, very long time. But fact of the matter is, there's going to come a time when that's going to happen. And so what does that look like? Now, in the perfect world, that looks like a political party who has a difference of opinion as to what they would like to do in the United States of America. They uphold the Constitution and the rule of law. They understand that we are a great nation, 250 years strong, and want to keep that strength. And, of course, the constitutional republic that we are and the democratic policies that we have as far as being able to vote and express themselves, and just a difference of opinion should not allow for any of that to be torn down. It is clearly something that we work together to strive for a greater nation. Then we have the Democrat Party in the world that we do live in, which is they hate you, they want to destroy you, and forbid if somehow they are to get power once again and what they'll do with said power. Well, we don't have to guess. We already know because we have Susan Rice, for example. Susan Rice, who was the UN ambassador for a while, also the national security advisor for Barack Obama, who has been around. It's a funny thing how Democrats work, how the deep state works sometimes. They get involved. They're there in power. Sometimes they get in the way. If there's a president that they don't like very much, things will start to happen behind the scenes to try to cause trouble, like collusion, hoaxes with Russia and the like. And then all of a sudden, that president will be gone, and then they kind of back off. And then next thing you know, that president comes back again, and then they're back in the fold again. Try to figure out how they can stop the president from doing the things that he's doing, or maybe just the consequences of you deciding as one of 77 million people that Donald Trump was the person that you wanted to have president of the United States. Oh, and also how you would like to see a Congress, House and Senate in control, Republicans in control of, so that we can get things done. Well, Susan Rice wants you to know that there are consequences for your way of thinking. I'm not joking. Instead of saying, yeah, our ideas are better, what we espouse is much better than Republicans, and we've proven it before, certainly not during Joe Biden's presidency. But there's also punishment. It's very leftist. It's very Marxist. There's punishment if you don't agree with us. Listen to this.
But when it comes to the elites, the corporate interests, the law firms, the universities, the media, I agree with you, Preet. It is not. It's not going to end well for them. For those that decided that it was, that they would act in their perceived very narrow self-interest, which I would underscore is very short-term self-interest, and take a knee to Trump. I think they're now starting to realize, wait a minute, this is not popular. Trump is not popular. What he is doing, whether on the economy and affordability or on immigration now, is not popular. And that there is likely to be a swing in the other direction. And they are going to be caught with more than their pants down. They're going to be held accountable by those who come in opposition to Trump and win at the ballot box.
There's a lot there. Number one, do you see now how they are advertising exactly what it is that they're going to do to you? Do you think that you're immune because you're not one of these corporate elitists? You're not one of these companies who have looked at the policies of the president of the United States and said, you know what? That might benefit us. I kind of like this whole idea. I kind of like the fact that we are now, when it comes to, for example, steel and the manufacturing of steel, that we have more steel that is being manufactured and getting out than we've seen in a very long time, that we have super secure borders like we haven't seen in a very long time. Like there are other things business-wise, for example, that are going on that we haven't seen in a very long time. And Susan Rice wants you to know that if at an elitist corporate level, you decided that you were going to, in her words, bend the knee or agree with President Trump's policies, that there's a reckoning coming. And you better get on the right side quickly, because this president's not going to be in office forever. And when he's out of office and a Democrat's in power, you're in trouble. You don't think that means you too? Wait, you think that when Susan Rice says that, she's only talking about corporations that agree with the president? You don't think she's talking about citizens of the United States? Yeah, she does. This is what the left continuously does. It's about punishment. Like, you're not allowed to have your own ideas. You're not allowed to have your own beliefs about this country. You've got to be in that box. You can't get out of that box. And you've got to toe the line. And if you don't, there are consequences. Jake Sullivan right now. Jake Sullivan, may I remind you, was Hillary Clinton's top aide. And he was the dude that put together Russiagate. He's the one that put it all together for Hillary and for the DNC. And again, everybody knows the story of what took place, and Barack Obama, who was very upset about Trump winning and didn't like the fact that the intelligence communities were giving him information that did not show Trump in any way, shape, or form involved in what they were describing, so had them change around the intelligence. But yet we still have a president, former president, who gets to go on podcasts and talk about aliens and everything else. But you have Jake Sullivan, who also was a national security advisor under Biden, talking right now about going after Trump associates, briefing senior Democrat officials on Capitol Hill in December, encouraging them to hold the private sector more accountable as the Trump administration has engaged in openly transactional and retributive governance is what they're talking about. Because they believe that if you don't agree with their ideology, that it's about retribution, which it's not. What it is accountability. So they're already talking about what they're going to do against the American people coming up. And just a refresher, Susan Rice is also the person who wanted you to believe that when it came to Benghazi, that it was all about a video. Do you remember?
Well, Candy, first of all, let's recall what has happened in the last several days. There was a hateful video that was disseminated on the internet.
Not true.
It had nothing to do with the United States government,
That's
and
not
it's
true.
one that we find disgusting and reprehensible.
That's a lie.
But let's remember what has transpired over the last several days. This is a response to a hateful and offensive video.
She goes on for, I got 2 minutes of video of that as that continues. So forgive me, number one, if I don't believe the lies that come out of Democrats' mouths. But when they tell me that they're going to go after those that would, quote unquote, take a knee to Trump, punish corporations and institutions, that part, I don't see as a lie. I would think about that seriously. Like, this is what they'll do. All right. What else do we have going on here at Florida's Voice on this Friday? Hey, happy Friday. Okay. Yeah, I know. You got any joy? I don't know. There's a Nancy Pelosi video. Hey, Dave, if we had some brand new video of Nancy Pelosi, would that bring you some joy? Can we do that?
That's a different type of joy, but kind of.
All right, so let's bring some
The joy in making fun of her comments,
Yeah.
but there's no joy in listening to them.
All right, here's Nancy Pelosi on the midterms. She was on, I guess the podcast. Oh, goodness. All right. Why am I drawing a blank on her name? Jessica, who's on the 5.
Karloff?
Yeah, on the 5. Okay. She has a podcast, I guess, called Raging Moderates. Again, I can't say this enough. There are Democrats who want you to believe that there are moderates in the party. Doesn't exist. It's just a lie. They're not moderates at all. Well, look at John Fetterman. No, look at John Fetterman. Just because every once in a while he says something that is a common sense statement doesn't necessarily mean he's not still a lefty in my book. Here's Nancy Pelosi on Jessica Tarloff's podcast. She's talking about the midterms. Again, here we go about elections and what she thinks. Let's see.
We're going to win the House. How many we pick up through redistricting in light of the fact that they think they have...
By the way, can I just stop for a second? Hey, Dee, we don't do this, do we? Why is her face so close to the camera? Does she have to be so close? Like, look at that. I mean, for those that can't see, I'm describing this to you. If you're listening to great affiliates across the state, does Nancy Pelosi have to be so close to the camera? Shouldn't she be a little further back? Or is that just me?
Yeah, I mean, no one wants her that close.
No, nobody does. I don't.
5 in Texas, probably a few. We only need a few to win.
I got to start again because when I said that, all right, let's start from, it's only 40 seconds long. Here you go.
We're going to win the House. How many we pick up through redistricting in light of the fact that they think they have 5 in Texas, probably a few. We only need a few to win, but that's not what this is about. I want 10 times that. I want 10 times that. If we need 3 to win the House, I want 30. And that's all over the country. So we came out ahead on redistricting. They should never have gone down that path. They did. We won. We're ahead of them. You see, the Supreme Court just said that Virginia could go forward with its plan. We'll see what happens in Maryland. But even without that, we're ahead by enough to win the House.
So Nancy Pelosi thinks that there's enough to win the House. That's her view on the midterms, and that Republicans should have never have decided that they wanted to redistrict. We're not done yet. So hold on, Nancy. We're not done here. We're not done in other places. And not just that, but we know the reason why Democrats redistricted the way they did, as opposed to what we're doing here in the state, for example, or any other place as we talk about it. So she's convinced that there's a path for Democrats in the House. And we'll see about that. Now, there was another story that I saw, and I just want to double check this because somebody brought this to my attention earlier today. And I was like, wait a second, this can't be true. So let's find out together. I was told that there's a surprise name among Democrats and the presidency. There it is. Okay. So there's polling that's being done, Granite State poll, about the 2028 New Hampshire primaries. Now, New Hampshire primaries kicks things off, D. It gets things started early on, gives you an indication of where Democrats stand, what they're thinking. Okay? Would you like to take a guess? I know you hate when I make you guess. J.D. Vance leads in the 2028 New Hampshire GOP primary. Would you like to take a guess who number one, who is number one on the Democrat side? Take a wild guess. Who?
I want to say Kamala.
It's not Kamala. She's not in the top 3. Gavin Newsom is 3. AOC is 2. Take a guess.
Is Pete on there?
Buttigieg.
Yep. That's right. Did you forget about Mayor Pete? I did. Nina didn't, because any opportunity there's...
Buttigieg.
Anytime I can play Trump saying Buttigieg, she is a happy camper. But yeah. So, Pete Buttigieg is ahead right now as far as the 28 New Hampshire GOP primary. Did anybody see that one coming? I didn't. I didn't see that one at all, but I just thought that was a very interesting notion that Pete would be, especially when, not my words, but Mark Halpern, who's got his own podcast called Next Up, I guess, and the strong belief in the Democrat Party as to who they will nominate. So on the heels of hearing that, here is Mark Halpern, who used to be on MSNB, whatever they call themselves, and then now he's got his own little podcast because I guess something was going on in his personal life, and we can't talk about that. So here he is. Check this out.
Strong belief in the Democratic Party that the party should not and will not nominate someone for president who's not a heterosexual white man. There just is. And what's interesting to me about that reality is, in my discussions with Democrats, who feels about that the most strongly? That the Democrats should not and will not nominate anything but a white man for president? Non-white men. gay non-white men, women, people of color, they feel as strongly as anyone, and women in particular say, we should not and will not nominate a woman. Now, that's not dispositive. The nominee might not be a straight white man. It's not dispositive. But you'll notice that the two people I have is easily at the top of the list are straight white men. And where does this come from? It comes from particularly losing to Donald Trump twice by nominating, in one case, a white woman, and in one case, nominating a woman of color.
Oh, time out. Can I just pull back for a second here and just ask this very obvious question? Did you ever think your candidates stink? How about that part of it? You put up Hillary Clinton. Okay, do I have to say anything else? You had Joe Biden up there, who was the king of losing presidential nominations and running for president and dropped for the longest time. And then all of a sudden, like a miracle, out of nowhere, 742 million people were like, yeah, we want Joe Biden. Like, we're supposed to believe that. And then in 2024, you decided to have Kamala Harris as, I mean, again, is it possible? Like, D, am I missing something? Is it possible that instead of looking at it the way you're looking at it, maybe you just have really bad candidates? And the people
Do you really think they're going to look at it that way?
No, of course not. No.
There's a narrative to push.
All right, yeah, exactly. That to me is... It's just remarkable that comes up. Not once thinking this is not who we should have nominated. There has to be someone else. Anyway, there's 330 million people in the United States. Well, a lot of them are babies. I mean, you can't really do that. But there are plenty of people outside of the circle of people that you continuously bring in that are qualified, probably, maybe not now anymore, to be president of the United States as a Democrat. And you had two really terrible candidates, and that's not why. That's not why. It's something else. It's got to be something. Are you sure it's something else? You're positive it's the something else? I mean, I think Jasmine Crockett is positive that it's the something else. Not my words. Jasmine Crockett, who wants to let everybody know at a campaign event in Houston, Texas, that it's going to be difficult for her to become senator.
I'm here to tell you that I got into this race knowing that on the day that I decided that I woke up as a black woman. I got into this race knowing that there would be unique challenges to my candidacy simply because, unfortunately, America can't get over herself.
And this is the same representative, congresswoman, mind you, who I think famously said recently on MSNB, whatever they call themselves these days, that I think when asked, hey, are you confident that Republicans, for example, in the state of Texas will, oh yeah, everybody, Republicans, Democrats, everybody would be willing to vote for me, no doubt about it. When you say things like that, people are like, wait a second, I can't get over herself. What are you suggesting? Can you dig into that a little bit? Are you suggesting that well, I don't think I have to dig into it. I think you know what's going on. Anyway, so just a couple of interesting stories that are out there. Speaking of interesting, Anita Padilla is coming back with top of the news from the Florida's Voice newsroom. A lot of Florida stories to touch on. Coming up.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
You know, a lot of times you have to choose between something high quality or something that saves you money. But if you could get both, why not? Especially when it comes to healthcare, and that is MediShare. You get both. Many families save $500 a month with MediShare, and that's huge. But it's also true that people wind up way more satisfied too. The member satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. That's because MediShare works. It has for more than 30 years. It's a community of Christians who have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth. They love the huge PPO network. So yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price in 2 minutes. Here's the number. Just call 855-SHARE-40. That's 855-SHARE-40. 855-SHARE-40.
Hey Max, you look absolutely dashing in that purple tie. Ready to harness the world?
You bet, Daisy. I'm ready as I'll ever be. And might I say, your purple tie really pops with your vest.
Thanks. I almost went with a cape, but didn't want to come across as pretentious.
Nonsense. Anyone in our line of work should rock a cape.
You might be onto something, Max.
Phew, so here we go. First day on the job. We've got this, right?
Right. Don't forget, we both graduated from Dogs Inc. with honors.
Which means I can guide my human around a busy city with ease.
And I can give my human a restful night.
I hope my human is kind and loving.
And I hope mine likes wet kisses and zoomies.
Ready to make a difference?
Born ready. Let's go.
Discover how extraordinary dogs like Daisy and Max change lives at no cost to the recipients. Visit dogsinc.org.
After my injury, I lost my sense of purpose.
I lost the ability to tuck my daughters into bed.
Homes for Our Troops builds specially adapted homes with features that allow our veterans to function independently and focus on their recovery and family. This life-changing gift of freedom is provided mortgage-free thanks to our donors and supporters.
Homes for Our Troops gave me a home where I can be a dad.
Homes for Our Troops gave me a brighter future.
We need you to join us too in completing this important mission. Learn more at hfotusa.org.
I'm Chris Jakovic. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. Being a veteran, it's interwoven into your DNA. It is really the absence of the connection and the purpose that can really drive a lot of veterans to some negative thoughts. For those who are in a suicidal crisis, the window of time to save somebody's life is very short. Our duty is to protect ourselves and protect our families. And one way you can do that is store your weapons safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Since the dawn of time, man and wildlife have shared a connection. And hunting traditions passed down from generation to generation have connected man to the natural world. From bow and arrow to hook and bullet, as man evolved, our link to those traditions remains. Yet today, our basic instinct to provide and as part of the hunt, to conserve and appreciate the natural world has fallen under attack for the first time in human history. Misguided politicians and radical activists pushing an agenda to end hunting as we know it are leading a war against our heritage. In their misguided policies and protests, they demonize hunters and belittle our way of life. The result? Hunters leaving the sport in droves while our wildlife and ecosystems suffer the consequences as conservation funding dries up. Named after the father of the North American model for wildlife conservation, the International Order of T. Roosevelt is fighting in the arena to protect and expand the rights of hunters everywhere. We will fight back against these forces to make sure that every American has a right to hunt, enshrined in their state constitutions. We will educate the next generation in our traditions and seek to expand accessibility so that everyone can enjoy our pastimes. And we will continue to hold true to our namesake's efforts to protect, preserve, and ensure open access to our nation's wildlands. Teddy Roosevelt's vision for American conservation defines our modern hunting and conservation system. A system upheld by the idea that conservation efforts are crucial to our hunting way of life, and that hunters are crucial to successful conservation.
Hey, it's Drew Steele. Look, are you still playing defense with your money? It's time to shift gears and seize the fresh opportunities this new pro-business environment has to offer. That's exactly what certified financial planner professional Alfie Townsend and the team at Advantage Retirement Group do for high net worth investors like you, helping you go on the offense with advanced tax strategies, thoughtful risk management, and forward-thinking financial planning. Imagine enjoying the retirement lifestyle you've worked so hard to achieve, all while staying one step ahead, and in a changing world, you've got to do it. Alfie and his team design personalized strategies to strengthen your financial foundation so you can focus on living life on your terms. Ready to find out more? text VISIT to 239-747-7470. Again, you can call or text 239-747-7470. Schedule your one-on-one consultation today and see how a proactive approach can help you thrive no matter what the market does next. Don't wait. Call or text VISIT to 239-747-7470 right now.
Now, back to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Anytime you want to watch, at FL Voice News on YouTube, Rumble, X, Facebook, and Instagram. Drew Steele, the website. Drew Steele the website. DrewSteele.com is the website. Steele has 3 E's. That's STEELE.com. You can go there. It acts like an app, so you can play it and stream it wherever you are across the country. Or you can check out the show 24/7. It streams on there. Just kind of loops all day. So it's like, hey, did I miss something? You don't have to miss it. See? Pretty simple. All right, top of the news from the Florida's Voice newsroom.
Top of the news, Florida's headlines. Now.
And for the last time today, Anita Padilla is in the Florida's Voice newsroom. Let's see what's up.
Hey there, Drew. A former South Florida mayor facing a federal court battle over his U.S. citizenship. I'll tell you why the Justice Department claims he obtained naturalization through fraud. That story in just a moment. But first, a 56-year-old Okeechobee man behind bars now following a statewide child exploitation investigation. The Florida Department of Law Enforcement says a cyber tip from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children led agents to an IP address in Glades County. And after serving a search warrant, investigators say they found hundreds of files containing child sexual abuse materials on a computer. William Leroy Johnson Jr. now faces 15 counts and remains in the Glades County Jail. That case is being prosecuted by the statewide prosecutor. Federal authorities are seeking to strip former North Miami Mayor Philip Ben-Ami of his U.S. citizenship. The Justice Department alleges that he obtained naturalization through identity fraud, claiming he's the same person previously ordered deported under a different name and that he never left the country. Prosecutors are alleging that he used fraudulent documents in his immigration process. His attorney tells us that they are reviewing the filing and that they will respond through the courts. Well, the Florida State Board of Education criticizing the Florida Education Association over what it calls politically motivated activity that prioritize activism over learning. Board members say the union promoted student protests during school hours and then failed to speak up when students faced possible discipline. Education Commissioner Anastasios Kamutsa said that classrooms are for learning, not political activism. The board also praised proposed legislation, Senate Bill 1296 and House Bill 995, aimed at increasing union accountability and giving teachers more choice in representation. All right, that's it for now. Be sure to head over to Florida's Voice, look at our webpage, flvoicenews.com, and see what other stories we're covering for you in the world of politics, both in Tallahassee and in Washington. I'm Anita Padilla, the news director here at Florida's Voice. Have a great weekend, Drew. Back over to you.
All right, you do the same. All right, so there's AP in the Florida's Voice newsroom. Anytime you want to check out the stories they are working on, you can go to flvoicenews.com, the website. And by the way, as she was mentioning national stories, it reminded me that over the weekend, if you want to check out our new venture, it is called Rightline. Rightline is your national voice, Rightline. I host the program. It's a 2-hour national program. It's across the country. You can watch it streaming on Saturdays, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. And it's on X and Facebook and Instagram. You can watch at Rightline News. You just go to the handle there at either one of those locations, rightlinenews.com as well, and great affiliates across the country. So wherever you are across the fruited plain, as it were, you'll be able to hear the show where you're at on great radio stations. So we appreciate the affiliates. We appreciate the opportunity to hang out with you over the weekend. So it's a lot of fun. Again, Rightline. Go visit the website and check it out over the weekend. State Representative Judson Sapp is joining us right now on Florida's Voice as we check out some of what is... Oh, look at that. What a background. I like that already. Wow.
Thank you.
I was going to say, that is beautiful. He's joining us right now. And for those that can't see him because you're listening on one of the great affiliates across the state, it's got the foliage, the trees. It looks beautiful. It's like, what a great view. All right. So how's it going over there? It seems like today you're peaceful. You're having a peaceful moment today.
I got in from session this morning. I'm back on my farm to work this weekend, to work the farm. So I'm very excited to be here. Sorry, it looks like my internet's a little bad because I'm a little slow on the graphics there, but it's just a great pleasure to talk to you after a hard week at session.
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, so you're farming, doing some stuff up there. We've talked a lot about farmers and the way they were hit with this weather that we had, and boy, I'll tell you, more and more I'm talking to people about the devastation across the state. It was pretty rough, and how we really do need to make sure that the federal government steps in, gets involved in helping out, because the farmers really took a beating this season.
Oh, it was rough. I hear about it from others. I'm not a large scale farmer, but I'm very small. A couple of my, I do mostly timber, which is what I got to clear out. I had a lot of freeze for smaller plants that I had put in earlier before the freeze, when I didn't really think it was back in the fall. But it's bad. I'm lucky because of what I do. Unfortunately, timber doesn't make much money, but it's pretty resilient. But the agriculture industry as a whole took a major hit because of these freezes. It was pretty devastating.
So let's get to the session here. Boy, I'll tell you, it feels like things are moving quicker than I imagined. I thought that, for example, I was talking to somebody last week, and they mentioned the budget, and they were thinking, we still got the budget to work on in the House, and still have all of this to deal with, as we were talking about property taxes and the things that were happening. And then all of a sudden, there it is. We have that passing. We've got the idea of what will be happening on the House side, and what they would like to see with regard to homestead property tax amendment and the like. And so that part is moving fast. How do you feel about all of the different parts that have been moving?
I mean, it's been a great week for the House. We like I said, we passed property tax in a very mindful way. It's a way that I think it might not have been exactly what the governor had asked for at first, but it's probably, it's really darn close to what his vision was. And hopefully the Senate will follow suit. The Senate's, it's always frustrating. And I say this, and I have the best senators that I work with four counties. I'm very fortunate to have three senators, three of the best, and they're great. And as a whole body, they're great. But sometimes we were getting the blame on the House for the property tax, and yet we passed it. And what are they going to do? Ball's in their court. They can give us something back. We did, which will historically, I think it's going to save Florida homeowners an average of $4,000 a year off their taxes, which is outstanding. I also love that it's going to make local government have to be mindful of their budgets, because let's keep in mind, some of them on the low end have just only inflated 40% a year since COVID. So, there's a lot going on with why this is a reasonable package. And I just think it's going to be great for Florida. And I think viewers need to understand this. If you're remotely concerned about it, other states are going to do it. And some states going to do it first, and we want to be the first ones to do it, because quite honestly, you are going to have some very wealthy people move to Florida that might not have looked at Florida in the past, and we want them before another state, because eventually we will do it in Florida. And I think it's going to go on the ballot. I think the voters are going to pass it. And but now it's in the Senate's court. They have got to approve it. Let's keep in mind, though, not only did we do that this week, we renamed an airport in honor of our great president, Donald Trump. That was outstanding. Let's see if the Senate will do that too. We also passed a historically fiscally conservative budget for the state of Florida. If we go with the House's version, we are actually going to get ahead of this fiscal crisis that we see booming. That's what conservatives should do. If you see a financial crisis coming, get ahead of it. The Senate, unfortunately, they're about $1.5 billion above where in excess spending. Maybe they see something that they don't agree with the fiscal impact that we're surveys that we're getting. But I'm sure as we enter budget conference, we'll get close to something that'll be good for Florida.
Yeah. So let me talk about some of the bills that you're working on, because I'm curious about one in particular. I know 1189 is about diversity, equity, inclusion, and affirmative action. You know, there are people that are like, well, I thought we don't have to deal with anything with regard to that. I thought that's all taken care of here in the state. What exactly is this, and where are we on it?
Yeah, so it was a bill that specifically dealt with DEI and the DMS service, which is basically where all our government contracts come. And there was also a lawsuit with the state, which the court said we can't do this anymore, but it's still in statute, so it causes a lot of problems. It was cleanup language for that. It looks like what's happening is, unfortunately, it wasn't going to be, I couldn't get it done as a separate bill. That's just the way it is sometimes. But some of the important language has been moved to somebody else's bill, and that's important. So we have been cleaning up DEI language in Florida statutes left and right. I don't some people who have been following this bill closely were really upset. I would have loved to have done it completely, but we've made progress, and we'll continue to make progress. And I'm committed. If when the next governor comes along, if the next governor's like, hey, we didn't quite get it all, I'm committed to run the bill again, and whatever language it needs to be to make that happen. Because we can't. At the end of the day, one, we need to follow what the courts say, which is that we can't do that. And I agree wholeheartedly, because we should not be wasting taxpayer dollars on contracts to try to give one minority or majority group. It shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter your gender. It shouldn't matter your color. It's, are you going to do the best job for the lowest price? And sometimes that's okay if the price is a little bit more, if it's a better job. I don't mind that, but I don't want any other factor. I would like it to be a blind taste test of, look at that contract and work experience and see if they're going to deliver Florida the best product for the best price. That's who we should go with, regardless of anything else. Yeah. So again, the good news is language is in other bills. We'll make progress, and each year that I'm there to clean it up even more.
Good. And one other bill is 739, the disability provisions for firefighters, law enforcement, correction officers. Where are we on this?
Unfortunately, that died in the committee process. I haven't been able to post game it yet. I've been working really hand in hand with the Florida Fraternal Order of Police on that. So it doesn't look like it's going to get in this year. There's always a chance on the Senate side something can happen. I think a lot of that, unfortunately, it was a bad budget year to try to do that. I don't think that's a good enough excuse. I'm not making an excuse. I fought extremely hard to get it in there, but I, unfortunately, with all the reps that we have, each filing 7 bills in a 90-day session, unfortunately, some things do die for other reasons, and that's unfortunate. But again, I'm committed to making it happen. I'll keep fighting, and there could have been something. And to be clear, it's sad that it died. But when we get through this legislative session, and I can talk to the chairs and talk to the policy chiefs and say, where did we fail? Why weren't we able to get this moving? We'll work on that, because sometimes that's what it is. Sometimes there could be something in the Constitution that we just couldn't get figured out in time. Right. And that's the problem with us being a part-time legislator. We are really rushed to get things done in a very limited amount of time.
Yeah, that's fair. And, we got about a minute and a half, but I might say that, to your point, could you bring it back again in the future? If there's something that you didn't get everything you wanted in a certain bill, could you revisit some of the things that you missed out on in the next session so that you can make that whole? And now there's always those opportunities.
100%. And honestly, if you look at the majority of our bills, it's fixing things from the past.
Yeah.
And I have been this person before. It's like, well, why don't you get it right from the start? Well, unfortunately, again, we're part-time. We have 90 days, and we also have term limits. All of those make it incredibly hard not to do things quickly. I support all of those. I'm for all those. But a lot of the times we come back the year later and say, hey, this didn't quite work. But the good thing is we're not like DC. We actually fix mistakes.
Right.
If we made a mistake or we had an oversight, nobody's afraid to go back to even their own bill and say, I'm going to change this because that didn't quite work like we planned it.
I think we should set up my studio right where you are. I need that background. That's what I need. Can I do that? Can I build a studio and we'll just put a nice, a window right behind me, and that's what it's going to look like all the time. That's what I want.
You're welcome to come shoot here anytime you need to.
Nice. I love it. That is great. All right, sir. Listen, great to see you again. All the best. God bless. We'll speak soon, okay?
Thank you so much. Y'all take care.
All right. That is State Representative Judson Sapp joining us on Florida's Voice, District 20. Yeah, if you didn't get a chance to see the background, it's just really nice. Lots of trees. Beautiful, D. Why can't we do that?
Yeah, we'll take them up on it.
Yeah, that's what we need to do. We need to build a
little field trip.
We need to do a show studio outside. Maybe we'll get one of those. Don't they have like these little mini kind of...
We'll do it in a freedom truck.
Yeah, there you go. Ooh. I like what you're thinking here. All right, let's take a break. It's Florida's Voice.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Did you know VA home loans are a key to home ownership for those who served?
The first moment I walked into my home, I could hear my footsteps echo off the back wall. The first thing I thought in my head was, man, furniture is going to be real expensive. The VA not requiring any down payment prior to buying the home allowed me to take that money I had budgeted to go out and buy furniture, food, cleaning supplies, pretty much everything I needed. Purchasing a home is scary, but ultimately it's not impossible, and they make it so that anybody can do it.
To learn more, visit va.gov/home loans.
For 25 years, the Library of Congress Veterans History Project has collected and preserved the experiences of America's heroes. From original letters to oral histories, these first-hand accounts bring history to life, one voice at a time. With over 120,000 stories collected, each reveals the courage, sacrifice, and service of our veterans, but many remain untold. Help our nation reach 125,000. Share a story. Ensure a legacy. Visit loc.gov/vets today.
You know, a lot of times you have to choose between something high quality or something that saves you money. But if you could get both, why not? Especially when it comes to healthcare, and that is MediShare. You get both. Many families save $500 a month with MediShare, and that's huge. But it's also true that people wind up way more satisfied, too. The member satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. That's because MediShare works. It has for more than 30 years. It's a community of Christians who have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth. They love the huge PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price in 2 minutes. Here's the number. Just call 855-SHARE-40. That's 855-SHARE-40. 855-SHARE-40.
When I was 19 and I was going to shows, I was not thinking about permanent hearing loss. I wasn't thinking about tinnitus.
Sometimes my kids are having a conversation with me and that ringing starts in my ear. They're talking to me and I hear their voice, but I can't focus on what they're saying.
The audiologist, he told me that most of his clients are not old people. They're kids that have their earphones in.
I have a lot of regret about not protecting my ears sooner.
Protect your ears at all times, no matter what. It's not something you can get back.
Some journeys start small, with small pause and big purpose.
Look how little fly, you sweet girl.
Every great partnership begins with the first step.
Bella, let's go.
Guiding them through the world so one day they can guide someone through life. With shared experience, confidence grows, and the path becomes clear. It takes time, patience, and love. But the reward lasts a lifetime.
Hey, good girl, Bella.
You don't just raise a puppy. You raise a future. Become a Dogs Inc. puppy raiser. Give a dog a purpose. Give someone hope.
Learn more at dogsinc.org.
Hey, it's Drew Steele. Listen, I've lived in Southwest Florida long enough to know that when I needed countertops, you go to the best. Who's the best? Rock Solid on J&C Boulevard in Naples. First of all, Rock Solid's consultants, I wasn't really sure what I wanted, but I knew that they were knowledgeable, gave me all the information I needed to make the best decision. I love that fabrication is done on premises. It's not like they're subbing out the job to some third party, right? If you're looking for countertops, backsplash, you know where to go. Rock Solid, J&C Boulevard, Naples.
Now, back to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Get out of the car! Get out of the car! Oh, firefighter, get out of the car, get on the ground right now.
You could tell she's still a little shooken up that her world got rocked like that, but a big smile on her face, and definitely was just upset that someone were to do that to her vehicle. I talked to the manager where she works and said she's one of the hardest workers there, and she still came to work right after all this. No excuses.
Wow, that's a great employee. Sounds like a really nice person who didn't deserve to have this happen to them. So I guess the 37-year-old guy in let's see if we can find out where in the state this took place. This was Ormond by the Sea is where this happened. This is the Volusia Sheriff's Office who was talking about this story. So you have a 37-year-old guy in Volusia gets arrested because he's like, I want revenge on my ex. I'm going to smash up her car with a hammer. There's just one problem with the hammer smashing. Turned out that it wasn't her car. It was a random white SUV. So the dude smashed up somebody else's car, and that was some of the arrest. And I guess the owner of a car dealership that ended up loaning her a car and was like, listen, this person she's super nice. Like right after this happened, back to work, just a good person. But this guy goes to smash the vehicle thinking he's going to pull a gotcha. What a horrible gotcha. What a horrible thing. What a horrible human being. And then next thing you know, it's the wrong vehicle, which just goes to show you that you don't do things like that. Just don't do it. It's really simple. Kids, simple message. Don't do that. Don't even think about doing that. If somebody even gave you the idea, or if you're even hearing my voice right now and you're like, I hope I don't. No. Don't even think about it. Just get it out of your brain. Like now. Like, let's move on. All right, it's out of the brain. Trump's tariffs on hold for the moment. I guess we'll see what happens. The 6-3 Supreme Court decision against the emergency decree, the tariffs, the fact that the president's like, look, nothing to worry about here. We've got other ways to go about handling this. And he also is thinking that there have been some people who have been more than happy to bring this to the Supreme Court and outside forces possibly involved in this. Is that part of this as well? The president was asked about that.
Mr. President, you mentioned multiple times foreign influence over the Supreme Court. Do you have evidence of that? And if not, will you investigate that?
You're going to find out.
Wow. You're going to find out. Foreign influence with the Supreme Court? Oh, boy. So he threw that out. Wow. We definitely have to talk about that coming up next hour. And then, I don't know, maybe, let me see if I can find this clip because I saw this with regard to this story. And, you know, one thing we know won't happen because the president has plan A and plan B. He's got a team that already knew that this could be a possibility and other ways to move these tariffs forward, ways that the Supreme Court already said can be done, unlike the kind of things that the former president of the United States, Joe Biden, read at some moment, but didn't know really what he was talking about when he said,
Supreme Court blocked me from relieving student debt, but they didn't stop me. So far, I've relieved student debt for nearly 5 million Americans. Yeah,
you weren't allowed to do that, and there was no other avenue for you to do that at all, and you did it anyway. See, we're not like that. There are other ways to do it, and if there were not, it wouldn't be happening anymore, but there are other avenues. Yeah.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
My name is Corporal Bradley Joseph Seitz.
Jerry Reed.
Kate Weber.
These are real veterans facing a real challenge.
I have PTSD.
And I have PTSD.
I have PTSD.
Post-traumatic stress disorder can happen to anyone.
I was still in a war zone in my mind.
But treatment can turn your life around.
Treatment has really saved my life.
To learn about PTSD and how treatment can help you, call your local VA medical center or visit ptsd.va.gov.
The best words to hear at the TSA security checkpoint? You're good to go. So check before you jet. Avoid delays at TSA security checkpoints by making sure you have an acceptable form of ID. That means a real ID, passport, or other acceptable forms of identification.
Visit tsa.gov/ID to check the full list of acceptable IDs. Avoid travel delays by checking ID requirements, and you're good to go.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele. Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Congratulations on your show. Congratulations on your new show. Big deal, huh?
That's why shows like yours are so important.
We have an independent county elected sheriff that's the head of law enforcement in Jacksonville/Duval County. And I know how to work toward making this city safe.
We can't be shy about speaking on things such as faith and politics. We have to remember, in a free society, the public square belongs to all of us.
I'm not interested in North Florida looking like Orlando or Miami. I love where we live, but I think that good jobs means that people that live in this district can stay in this district.
Fishing and hunting is funding a large part of your conservation projects in Florida, and we want to make sure that those are forever preserved.
And the problem with this industry at this point is that they actually target our youth. You can see it in their marketing strategies, where it's bright colors, fun names.
And that's going to be endlessly litigated.
Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
What does life after service look like? Kicking back? Taking it easy? We believe it looks a little different. Fighting for all veterans. Making sure they get the benefits and care they've earned. Rebuilding communities after disaster strikes. And adapting to support today's veterans. Meeting them where they are. The VFW. Still leading. Still advancing. Still serving. Get involved at stillserving.org.
I can trace family members who served from World War I to today, each one helping shape who I am. My family chose to share their stories with the Library of Congress Veterans History Project. Voices, letters, and memories that bring their service to life. Searching for their stories was easy. You can discover powerful stories too, told through the voices of America's veterans. Explore, remember, and share at loc.gov/vets.
Half of young adults are at risk of hearing damage from loud sounds. So why is this happening? We know not to bake in the sun for hours and to get our eyes checked regularly. We buckle up to save lives. And we know that smoking kills. So do poor diet choices and poor life choices. But why are we so reckless with our hearing? We take hearing for granted. Hearing damage from loud sounds is permanent, but preventable. We take common sense steps for our health every day. Let's make hearing part of it. Wear earplugs. Turn it down. Give your ears a rest. Love your ears. Learn more at hearinghealthfoundation.org. Keep listening.
Hey, it's Drew Steele, and I have to tell you, when my wife and I talked about getting new kitchen countertops for our house, we know who to call. Rock Solid Countertops and More, 2240 J&C Boulevard in Naples. And they have been absolutely amazing. Hugo and the team are the best. The workmanship has been absolutely incredible. The install was so easy. The process was perfect. Taking everything out, bringing the new stuff in. The quartz countertop is unbelievably beautiful, and my wife is super happy, I'll tell you. You know they have the best quality and selection of marble, quartz, granite, and a one-stop shop for all of your kitchen, outdoor, and bathroom needs. I've known it for years. I've lived in Southwest Florida 40 years. There was really only one place I was going to go. It's Rock Solid Countertops and More. I would suggest you give them a call, 596-7676. They're at 2240 J&C Boulevard in Naples. Find out what they can do for you. Countertops, cabinets, plantation shutters, they do it all. Rock Solid Countertops and More.
The other day, a man called saying my electric was way past due. He threatened to turn off my power if I didn't buy a gift card to pay the bill. I said, look, fella, I wasn't born yesterday. Gift cards are for gifts, not for paying bills, and I'm sure as heck not buying you a gift. So I hung up on the crook, and my lights never went out. Know the signs of scams, and scammers in the dust. If someone asks for a gift card as payment, it's likely a scam. A public service message from the Better Business Bureau.
We all have someone we love, like the favorite lyric in our favorite song. You can't imagine life without them. Cancer screening tests can help keep the person you love around longer by detecting changes before cancer develops, or catch it early when it may be easier to treat. And many tests are available for free or are covered by insurance. It's time to sound like a broken record. Tell all your friends and family, I love you. Get screened. Visit cancer.org/getscreened to learn more.
You know, a lot of times you have to choose between something high quality or something that saves you money. But if you could get both, why not? Especially when it comes to healthcare, and that is MediShare. You get both. Many families save $500 a month with MediShare, and that's huge. But it's also true that people wind up way more satisfied, too. The member satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. That's because MediShare works. It has for more than 30 years. It's a community of Christians who have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth. They love the huge PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price in 2 minutes. Here's the number. Just call 855-SHARE-40. That's 855-SHARE-40. 855-SHARE-40.
Thank you for waking us all up out here, for all you do.
Thank you for giving us the voice.
For being out there helping keep the constitutional republic.
I want to thank you for
your support for veterans in the military.
Educating us.
Standing up for conservatism.
Giving us the truth.
Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Well, hey, everybody. So glad you're joining us today on Florida's Voice. My name is Drew Steele. Big D is on the other side of the glass. You got Nina in the breaking newsroom. And you hanging out with us at FL Voice News on YouTube, Rumble, X, Facebook, and Instagram, as it were, or the kids, you know, they call it the Insta thing there. So you can check us out. We've got a lot going on today. It's been a very busy day, as a matter of fact, with regard to tariffs. You know, some people love tariffs, some people don't like tariffs. Some members of the court, the Supreme Court, were not exactly fans of, I guess, the decision that was made today. 3 in particular, 6-3, the decision that, I guess, the emergency decree that the president used as the means to put forward these tariffs was struck down. But there are other remedies. But there's more to the story. What is the rest of the story? Let's find out together with Alan Mendenhall, who's joining us right now on Florida's Voice. He is a research fellow at the Heritage Foundation, heritage.org. We always appreciate a few minutes to speak about the big issues and digging in deep. It's Drew Steele. How are you, sir?
I'm good. I hope my kids are upstairs listening on Insta.
Well, there you go. You better go tell them now. Let them know you're on Insta.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Hey, guys, turn me on.
Excellent. All right. So, first of all, I guess, you know, the 30,000-foot view of this would be that there's more to the story in this, because the president, we're told, has more tools in the toolbox to be able to present this, to continue what has been, I guess, a $900 billion boon to this country. Can you talk a little bit about that, and even your thoughts on, as you heard this decision, did you expect this? Was this something you thought would be coming?
Well, in a way, I mean, you either knew that the tariffs would be struck down or they wouldn't, and so it was a 50-50 shot, and I kind of thought they probably would, but I didn't know the rationale. You never know the rationale. So what this decision, the specific issue here is, does the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, IEPA is what people call it, authorize the president to tariff imports during a national emergency, or is that like exclusively the province of Congress? Is that just, you know, under Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution, Congress has the power to lay and collect taxes, duties, and imports, so is it just exclusively Congress, or under emergency, under this IEPA, can the president do it? And what I think is important is what the decision did not do, the 6-3 majority opinion did not do. First of all, it didn't give any economic analysis. It didn't say, oh, tariffs are good or tariffs are bad. It didn't do any of that.
Right.
And it also didn't question whether there was, in fact, an emergency, which I think is really interesting. I don't hear a lot of people talking about that, but the bases that Trump used were that there were illegal drugs coming in from Canada and Mexico and China, and this is creating a public health crisis, and that we have these trade deficits and all these struggling manufacturing, and it's undermining supply chains, all this stuff. Well, the court basically just took that fact as a given, which I think is kind of interesting. Now, the holding is that the president can regulate importation in national emergencies, but that doesn't include the power to tariff or raise revenue because the law doesn't mention those specific things and no one's ever done it in the past, all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. Now, as you mentioned, there are still other ways the president can impose tariffs. Some of those are this Section 232 of the Trade Expansion Act. You've got Section 301 of the Trade Act, Section 122 of the Trade Act, Section 338 of the Tariff Act. So you've got all these different acts that the president can use. And, you know, he went for IEPA because that was the more sweeping way to do it. Anytime a president wants to declare emergency powers, those are usually more broad, and they're broader and more sweeping. And so that makes sense that would have been his starting place. But as I was saying on a show earlier, this is just like if you're watching a football game, this would be like whether you like or hate the tariffs, this would be like celebrating and trying to tear down the goalpost when all you really have is a ruling on whether somebody went out of bounds or whether someone called timeout in time or what, the game is very much still going on. And so to declare victory on any side is just premature. It's just, as you said, one tool in the toolkit has been taken away. So the president has already signaled in his press conference earlier today that they're going to pretty rapidly move on tariffs, and I would expect maybe even next week. I mean, you've got State of the Union coming. It wouldn't surprise me to see that happen even before then.
Right. Yeah, because he talked about today signing an order to impose the 10% global tariff under Section 122. So
yeah,
he's already moving forward. You would imagine that the team, as they decided that this was the route to go to start with tariffs, already had the plan B in place. It was almost like, let's get this ball rolling, let's get this happening, and yeah, maybe it'll be struck down, but ultimately we can go to plan B quickly right away, which I guess is a little more onerous, as he was describing. There's a little more in detail to get that going, and maybe that's why, and that was the impetus to do it in a different way, because it was quicker and broader, I guess.
I think that's right, and I think this could all still be part of Plan A. I mean, Plan A could have been, let's move under IEPA because that's the broadest. Meanwhile, once we've done that, let's take all the steps that we need to take under Section 122, Section 301, and just have that ready day one. And we know that's sort of how this administration has operated from the beginning. I mean, first week, Trump was issuing executive orders. It wasn't as if he got on the job and was like, okay, what do we need to do now? I mean, right. They have been ready from the beginning. They have been mega planners. And so I think they were completely ready for this ruling.
Yeah.
And are just, going to act on it now. But
I do have to.
Yeah, I do
have to correct you. They weren't mega planning; they were MAGA planning. Oh, see, come on,
MAGA planning! I love it.
See what I did? See what I did there? Thanks, Steve.
I did. Okay, that's great.
Well, then let's talk. That's part of the show is silliness. So just so you're aware of that, it's part of what we do here. Try not to take everything so seriously. Yeah, because otherwise you drive yourself crazy.
I was on a show earlier.
Yeah.
I was on a show earlier, and the guy said, what do you think? I don't even remember what the question was, and I was like, I don't have a crystal ball. I've got this nice snow globe right here, and I literally had a snow globe. But he didn't have a sense of humor, so it wasn't. It didn't go so well.
Yeah, we don't like people without senses of humor. We don't do that on the show. It's all about. So I guess the another question I would ask is, obviously when it comes to tariffs, the president talking about the billions of dollars coming in. You have the left in the country who, of course, anything that the president does is wrong. And there are some even Republicans, people who have never been a fan of tariffs. Clearly, this president does things differently. He kind of breaks the glass when it comes to when we're told it's always been done this way. The president is more than happy to say, well, it hasn't really worked very well. Let's do it a different way. And so when it comes to tariffs in and of themselves, have they been affecting prices necessarily? Because you have one side that's like, look, the prices have been going down, but it's a product of something else that is causing these prices to be so high. And then there's another side that's like, don't you understand the affordability issue is about the tariffs? If you take them away, the prices plummet. That's part of this. Are you kind of in the middle? What do you think about that specifically?
Yeah, so there are a lot of things to talk about here. So Trump has instituted tariffs to try to reduce the trade deficit, to try to bring manufacturing jobs back, to try to make good trade deals. We know he's the master negotiator. So if you're measuring whether the tariffs are successful, those are sort of his stated goals, what you want to do. So you want to see if that's, if those things are working. So the trade deficit has definitely shrunk, and that has happened. Maybe it hasn't shrunk as much as the president has wanted, but it's shrunk. So, it's one of those things where the way I look at this when I talk about tariffs to my friends, I'm sitting around having a beer or whatever it is, and you say, look, if I hired somebody to paint my house or something like that, and they breached the contract, and I wouldn't just insist on continuing to have that person paint the house, whatever, I would seek to remedy it. I'd do something about it, and I'd find a new trading partner, and I would, oppose to it. I seek, damages, remedies, all these things. It's an analogy. Maybe it's not the best analogy, but it's one of those things in trade where trade is tariffs are a political tool. In an ideal world, if we lived in a perfect world, we would have absolute free trade everywhere. But there are all kinds of historical contingencies, political realities. There are human rights reasons why we might not want to have exactly one-to-one trade with some other country. We live in a messy world. And so sometimes tariffs are the tool that people resort to in order to deal with those messy realities.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And we've always talked about on this program, tariff as a tool, and clearly the tool works because there are countries that do acquiesce to certain things because of tariffs, no doubt about it. But it's always interesting to see how when the tariff discussion comes up, how some people freak out because they automatically associate it with, let's just say, not being good trade partners, when maybe for the longest time the trade partner we have has been taking advantage of the United States. They really haven't been very good trade partners, and why not use this?
There is no reality in which China has been a good trade partner for us.
Yep.
I mean, China cheats, steals, and lies, and it has just been a bad trade partner.
Yeah. No, I would agree with that. All right. Well, this was fantastic. In my perfect world, sir, everybody would have a snow globe. It's just the way.
I know. Mine's great. I like mine.
Yeah.
So.
Is it like one of those Florida ones where it has like palm trees in it and then you shake it up and it's got like the sand that shakes out? Or is it more like a winter wonderland one?
It's a winter wonderland one. It was actually a gift from our church last Christmas, and it was like a very surprising gift. I wasn't expecting a snow globe, and I got one. It's a really nice one too.
Okay, well there you go. All right, sir. Well, this was fun. I appreciate a few minutes of your time. All the best. God bless. We'll see you soon. Okay.
Hey, thanks. Happy Friday. Have a good weekend.
Happy Friday. It is. Alan Mendenhall joining us here on Florida's Voice. He is a research fellow at the Heritage Foundation, heritage.org, and we appreciate a few minutes of his time today. So yeah, the president had a few things to say about the tariffs. I should play some of the clips from the president because he had a lot to say about this very issue. And some of the things that he was talking about, he was not very happy with. For example, Neil Gorsuch and Amy Coney Barrett was being asked specifically about the two of them.
Justices Gorsuch and Barrett, are you surprised in particular by their decision today? And do you regret nominating them?
I don't want to say whether or not I regret. I think their decision was terrible. Yeah. I think it's an embarrassment to their families. You want to know the truth?
Woof! Wow, that's pretty harsh. But so the president feels like, look, it's an embarrassment. Both of them and how they would do something like this and siding with the majority opinion, which was not the right decision in a lot of ways for people like Samuel Alito and Clarence Thomas and Kavanaugh, who voted the only three that would vote on the president's side, if you will. And there's so many other things that the president was talking about too. He was discussing the fact that, and I just want to bring this up before we move on, about the 10% global tariff, like I just mentioned, that he has the ability to do this. But also, as he's talking to other countries, they're starting to realize that, wow, we may have had it better before this decision than what's about to come.
We just left the top person in a place called Vietnam, just left my office. Great gentleman, strong and smart. He said, I think this means you're allowed to charge us more tariffs than before. And Canada said to Jameson, I might want to say it, Jameson, but Canada said, I hope you win this decision, because if you don't win, you'll actually be allowed to charge us with a little additional work, higher tariffs. Jameson, you want to comment on that?
I don't know if Jameson commented on that or not, but that was Jameson. And that was the president of the United States talking about Jameson, who was talking about other countries that are like, boy, it could get ugly. It could get worse. By the way, speaking of Canada, can I just bring this up because I had this yesterday and I didn't get a chance to talk about this. What's going on with Canada, eh? I mean, I don't understand Canada. There was a time not too long ago when everybody was like, you do realize the Canadians are more conservative than Americans. I mean, what we've got going on in the government and everything that's happening, and things are amazing. And then all of a sudden it was like, goodbye. It was gone. That was it. And now it is some of the craziest leftist policies that anybody can imagine. You had the talk, what was it, last week or the week before? And I want you to follow this. Look, if you're here in the state of Florida and you're listening to this and you're like, why do I care about Canada? Why do I care about what they're doing there? Oh, you're going to care about this, and I'll explain in just a second, because it does have to do with us. It's very important across the country. So you had Canada very upset about tariffs, very upset about a lot of things that we were discussing with them with trade, because remember, Canada and the EU and other countries, they liked the way things were before. They got to take advantage of us in trade, and we just sat and accepted it. And those days are over. And so now that has changed, and believe me, they're probably waiting for the next time and would love to see a Democrat come into office that'll be like, yeah, we're going to get rid of all this. And they'll be like, so glad you're in office. They won't say it out loud, but that's what they're thinking, allegedly. So when the issues with the trade deal was going on, you started to see Canada and China get together and making these big trade deals themselves. Now, when China makes these grand, huge trade deals with countries, oftentimes, if they're weak, did I say that out loud? I'm saying it out loud. In certain ways, then there are strings attached. There are things that you will have to do for China. For example, when you have the Belt and Road Initiative, when you have countries in, let's say, Latin America or South America who really could use help with infrastructure or ports or airports, and then China comes along and says, we would love to help you financially. We would be more than help you out. But by the way, there's a VIG, as, well, look it up, to pay. There's conditions. Things that happen, maybe, I don't know, maybe it is workers, a lot of troops on the ground. Could be all different kinds of situations going on with China being involved. So when you hear about this grand trade deal or something going on with Canada, and you're understanding that Canada has completely flipped lefty, you get a little concerned about certain things. What are you suggesting, Drew? I don't know. How about a Canadian federal government official who had a speech just the other day at the Canadian Club Toronto? And this person was describing some of the new initiatives that are going to be happening in Canada and expressed entry for people coming into the country. So not like locking down the borders, not like intense scrutiny as to where you're coming from and what you're doing here and whether or not you want to be part of the fabric of the country. No, it's not about that. Express entry. Like, we got to boom, boom, boom. We got to get people, right, Joe? Go ahead. Tell us.
I got something to do. I got to go do boom, boom, boom.
We got to do boom, boom, boom. We got to get you in here for all kinds of different reasons.
We're also adding categories for candidates with work experience in transport occupations, including pilots, aircraft mechanics, and inspectors.
Okay, so they need some pilot and inspectors and the like. They need some of these positions to be filled, so they're expediting entry into the country if this is something that you want to do.
We've identified these sectors as areas in critical need. Strengthening those helps us move goods across the country and to new markets.
Yeah, so new markets, maybe like China. We got to strengthen all of this so that we can do better with trade. And okay, good. Get ready.
Supporting trade, supply chains, and economic resilience.
Sure, economic resilience. What else?
And finally, we are creating a new category for skilled military recruits.
A category for skilled military recruits. Wait, you're doing express entry for foreigners to come in to be part of your military?
To attract highly skilled foreign military applicants. Eligible recruits with a job offer from the Canadian Armed Forces, including doctors, nurses, pilots, can be invited to apply for permanent residence.
Okay, so look, I'm not saying anything could go wrong here. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I don't know if anything could go off the rails at all, but follow the story. Canada has decided that they need express entry for immigrant categories, bring more people from outside of the country because they have needs and they've got to fill these needs. They've got a new express entry now for immigrant categories of quote unquote skilled military recruits into the Canadian Armed Forces. So they want to speed up foreign nationals. I don't know, maybe people from China. They're making some big deals there to join the ranks of the military that will help defend our sovereignty and keep Canadians safe. So follow the lead here. There's some people that said that this seems like a threat to national security. I don't know. I mean, for us. Let me just get this straight. Again, bringing in foreigners to strengthen the military. People who are coming from another country that we assume will have allegiance to the flag of Canada. I was going to say the Canadian flag. In other words, allegiance to Canada. Coming here, being part of the military. What could go wrong? Allegedly. I don't know. This story came to my attention the other day. Somebody said you should look into this. I did. Kind of freaked me out a little bit, but maybe it's nothing. It's just Canada. They're doing fine over there. They make fantastic beer, and maple syrup is just flowing like water. And what else do we have in Canada? Canada's a great place to visit, right, D? We got beer. Stop it.
Okay, it's fine.
They got a okay hockey team in the Olympics. Oh, how are we doing?
Not the women.
It's all right. Oh, look, we got to go to break now. Wow. All right.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
You know, a lot of times you have to choose between something high quality or something that saves you money. But if you could get both, why not? Especially when it comes to healthcare, and that is MediShare. You get both. Many families save $500 a month with MediShare, and that's huge. But it's also true that people wind up way more satisfied too. The member satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. That's because MediShare works. It has for more than 30 years. It's a community of Christians who have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth. They love the huge PPO network. So yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price in 2 minutes. Here's the number. Just call 855-SHARE-40. That's 855-SHARE-40. 855-SHARE-40.
Hey Max, you look absolutely dashing in that purple tie. Ready to harness the world?
You bet, Daisy. I'm ready as I'll ever be. And might I say, your purple tie really pops with your vest.
Thanks. I almost went with a cape, but didn't want to come across as pretentious.
Nonsense. Anyone in our line of work should rock a cape.
You might be onto something, Max.
Phew, so here we go. First day on the job. We've got this, right?
Right. Don't forget, we both graduated from Dogs Inc. with honors.
Which means I can guide my human around a busy city with ease.
And I can give my human a restful night.
I hope my human is kind and loving.
And I hope mine likes wet kisses and zoomies.
Ready to make a difference?
Born ready. Let's go.
Discover how extraordinary dogs like Daisy and Max change lives at no cost to the recipients. Visit dogsinc.org.
After my injury, I lost my sense of purpose.
I lost the ability to tuck my daughters into bed.
Homes for Our Troops build specially adapted homes with features that allow our veterans to function independently and focus on their recovery and family. This life-changing gift of freedom is provided mortgage-free thanks to our donors and supporters.
Homes for Our Troops gave me a home where I can be a dad.
Homes for Our Troops gave me a brighter future.
We need you to join us too in completing this important mission. Learn more at hfotusa.org.
I'm Chris Jakovic. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. Being a veteran, it's interwoven into your DNA. It is really the absence of the connection and the purpose that can really drive a lot of veterans to some negative thoughts. For those who are in a suicidal crisis, the window of time to save somebody's life is very short. Our duty is to protect ourselves and protect our families. And one way you can do that is store your weapons safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Since the dawn of time, man and wildlife have shared a connection. And hunting traditions passed down from generation to generation have connected man to the natural world. From bow and arrow to hook and bullet, as man evolved, our link to those traditions remains. Yet today, our basic instinct to provide and as part of the hunt, to conserve and appreciate the natural world has fallen under attack for the first time in human history. Misguided politicians and radical activists pushing an agenda to end hunting as we know it are leading a war against our heritage. In their misguided policies and protests, they demonize hunters and belittle our way of life. The result? Hunters leaving the sport in droves while our wildlife and ecosystems suffer the consequences as conservation funding dries up. Named after the father of the North American model for wildlife conservation, the International Order of T. Roosevelt is fighting in the arena to protect and expand the rights of hunters everywhere. We will fight back against these forces to make sure that every American has a right to hunt enshrined in their state constitutions. We will educate the next generation in our traditions and seek to expand accessibility so that everyone can enjoy our pastimes. And we will continue to hold true to our namesake's efforts to protect, preserve, and ensure open access to our nation's wildlands. Teddy Roosevelt's vision for American conservation defines our modern hunting and conservation system. A system upheld by the idea that conservation efforts are crucial to our hunting way of life, and that hunters are crucial to successful conservation.
Hey, it's Drew Steele. Look, are you still playing defense with your money? It's time to shift gears and seize the fresh opportunities this new pro-business environment has to offer. That's exactly what certified financial planner professional Alfie Townsend and the team at Advantage Retirement Group do for high net worth investors like you, helping you go on the offense with advanced tax strategies, thoughtful risk management, and forward-thinking financial planning. Imagine enjoying the retirement lifestyle you've worked so hard to achieve, all while staying one step ahead, and in a changing world, you've got to do it. Alfie and his team design personalized strategies to strengthen your financial foundation so you can focus on living life on your terms. Ready to find out more? Text VISIT to 239-747-7470. Again, you can call or text 239-747-7470. Schedule your one-on-one consultation today and see how a proactive approach can help you thrive no matter what the market does next. Don't wait. Call or text VISIT to 239-747-7470 right now.
Now, back to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
All right, a couple of things I want to remind you about. First of all, please check us out over the weekend. Wait a minute, you work on the weekend? Yeah, Right Line. Right Line is our new program. It is our national weekend show. So you can watch if you go to rightlinenews.com. You can go to @Rightline News on X and Facebook and Instagram. So we stream live Saturdays, 9 a.m. to 11. It's also on across the country on great radio affiliates. So you'll have an opportunity to check out the program on the air as well. So we're looking forward to more stations coming on board. We're already doing fantastic. So looking forward to you being able to hear the program across the country. And anytime you want to watch this program, you just go to FL Voice News on YouTube, Rumble, X, Facebook, and Insta. All right. It is time for the top 5 audio clips of the day. It's my top 5.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This is Drew's top 5. Number 5.
When did you give notice? And I just want to make sure you did not see any detainees.
No, we gave notice 8 days ago. We got confirmation yesterday that we were going to be allowed in. And the last detainee was taken out at 11:30 a.m., 30 minutes before we were set to arrive.
What about the children who were released in T-shirts on Wednesday?
And we also did ask, how many people came through today, which is why it felt convenient that no one was there.
Felt convenient that nobody was there. So what's going on here? You have both Ilhan Omar and oh goodness, I forget the other. It's a senator representative. It doesn't matter. From Minnesota. So that was at the end there. That was Ilhan Omar, who was saying it's awfully convenient, and they're very upset because they went to go see illegals in Minnesota. But when they went to go see them, ICE had deported them before they got there. So they were like, hey, yeah, you can, sure. You want to come? Oh, yeah, you absolutely can stop. Yeah, come on over. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, come right in. Okay, great. And then they deported them before they got there, so they didn't get to see anybody. Oh, I'm sorry, that was kind of funny.
Number 4.
The abolishment of the 287G program is not the abolishment of ICE. They're going nowhere. In fact, they're going to intensify their efforts. We warned them this was going to happen, and it's going to happen.
A warning on Wednesday, issued by sheriffs from the 9 Maryland counties forced to end active partnerships with ICE under a new state law.
It is the biggest betrayal to law enforcement and public safety that I have ever seen.
There will be people missed. And that is my concern. There'll be people missed and who will be re-released into our communities who pose a threat.
The legislation, signed by the governor Tuesday, abolishes 287G agreements with ICE.
Wow. So that is in Maryland, where they care about law and order. Well, the sheriffs do. The governor doesn't. So Governor Wes Moore, Democrat, ended the partnership between ICE and local police. And the sheriffs and local police department are like, they're ticked off, to say it kindly. the biggest betrayal to law enforcement and public safety that they've ever seen. This is what the governor does. This is the small bit of constituents who want that to take place, to not remove criminal illegals from the streets, getting released back into the streets because of what the governor decided to do. And oh, by the way, possibly somebody who might run for president of the United States in 2028. That's your platform.
Number 3.
It seemed like before you were about to accept my voter registration form, even though I told you I was a green card holder.
I'm just a green card holder. Like, so you're not going to report me if I do this, because
No. We accept anything that comes over the counter. You know, we have people who come in here and they have legal situations and they register, they weren't a citizen, boom, 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 so.
How often do things like that happen? Right now, I'm in front of 200 Varick Street in New York City, New York. And inside this building on the 10th floor is an office of the New York City Board of Elections. Now, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to pose as a non-citizen Canadian green card holder.
I'm a green card holder from...
Okay, so if it wasn't for the booming music that was making my ears shake, I was kind of crazy. I would have played a little more from muckracker.com there, but there was one of their... This is citizen journalism is cool. One of their reporters there who went undercover at a New York City Board of Elections place there at 200 Varick, posing as a non-citizen just to see if they could register to vote. And of course they could. And as you heard the gentleman behind the counter who said, hey, we accept anything that comes over the counter. Anything? Like, even like puppies? Well, maybe the puppies are a little, but the point is that, it doesn't have, why is it the thing that we're told never happens is happening and it's happening in New York? Why is that the thing?
Number 2.
But when it comes to the elites, you know, the corporate interests, the law firms, the universities, the media, I agree with you, Preet. It is not, it's not going to end well for them. For those that decided that it was, you know, that they would act in their perceived very narrow self-interest, which I would underscore is very short-term self-interest, and, you know, take a knee to Trump. I think they're now starting to realize, wait a minute, you know, this is not popular. Trump is not popular. What he is doing, whether on the economy and affordability or on immigration now, is not popular. And that there is likely to be a swing in the other direction. And they are going to be caught with more than their pants down. They're going to be held accountable by those who come in opposition to Trump and win at the ballot box. And I can tell you, Preet, you know, as I talk to leaders in Washington, leaders in our party, leaders in the states, if these corporations think that the Democrats, when they come back in power, are going to, you know, play by the old rules, and say, oh, never mind, we'll forgive you for all the people you've fired, all the policies and principles you've violated, all, you know, the laws you've skirted. I think they've got another thing coming.
Whose principles? What are you talking about? So that's the former UN ambassador and national security advisor to Barack Obama, Susan Rice, who went on to a podcast, I guess with somebody named Preet, who was letting people know that, look, when Democrats get back in power, should they retake power, that Democrats are going to punish corporations and other institutions who have, quote, unquote, taken a knee to Trump. In other words, the policies that Trump has put forward and the corporations are like, well, this sounds good to us. It's not going to end well for them. If these corporations think that the Democrats, when they come back into power, are going to play by the old rules, they got another thing coming, and accountability will be the agenda. Just so you understand, it's in their own words. Please know this, that Democrats are not about, hey, look, our policies we believe are better than yours, and we will put them in front of the American people, and they'll decide at the ballot box. And if we lose this election, we'll fight hard to show them the best way to go is our way, and we'll continue to move forward. No. It's kind of the communist Marxist playbook. It's about retribution. It's about punishment of people who do not agree with them. That's coming.
Number 1.
They have passed it on to consumers in some cases. They haven't. That's why the answer is no, people aren't going to get their $1,700 from last year back from what Trump charged with his tariffs because of how this has all worked and how he did it. But at the same time, I thought the scariest part, in addition to the continued assault on the rule of law and the Constitution from his press conference, was that he plans to continue doing this. The processes in the statutes that he could have used and other presidents have used, he doesn't want to do that. He doesn't want to conduct these investigations. He knows a lot of this won't hold up. So he's talking about using another statute, this Section 122. Under that statute, if it is even legal to use, under the words of the statute, Congress, after a certain period of time, a shorter period of time, would be able to decide to not extend the tariffs. And you've recently seen Congress step in on my bill with Tim Kaine and Rand Paul and say, nope, we're not going to have these tariffs on Canada anymore. So I think you're starting to see bipartisan opposition.
Yeah, this wasn't my number one clip. I don't know how that got in there. And I feel bad because, I feel really bad because I think I've shorted the audience on a better clip than that. That wasn't supposed to be my number. Yeah, that's not really a number. That's not a number one clip. It's basically Amy Klobuchar going on to Katie Tur's program on MS Now and saying that the president, he can use Section 122, but we're going to try to stop him. But that's not a number one. I got to fix it. Well, all right. I don't know. This one could possibly be a number one.
Here's the real number one.
Oh, are you going to do big voice, guys? Why don't we just make believe that we were on number two and I said something really funny and intelligent and everybody's like, oh, cool, okay. And then we go,
number one.
Mentioned multiple times foreign influence over the Supreme Court. Do you have evidence of that? And if not, will you investigate that?
You're going to find out.
That was interesting. I don't know. Maybe not a number one, but an interesting clip. So that was the President of the United States. All right, let's move on here.
Drew's top five.
Yeah, not really the greatest, but sorry, I failed you today. That was the president hinting that he's about to expose the exact foreign influences who swayed the Supreme Court's opinion on tariffs. When a reporter said foreign influence, you have evidence of that? Will you investigate that? And the president's like, didn't I just release UFO files for you? Didn't I just... of course I'm going to look into it. But he didn't say that. He said you're going to find out. But he did release today, or yesterday, said that we are going to have that happen. But the president directed the administration to release files on UFOs and any, quote, alien and extraterrestrial life. Yeah, I don't want to talk about it. They exist, they're demonic, and that's all you need to know. Period, full stop. Like I said, they exist, they're demonic, and I don't want to talk about it anymore. I want to talk about this story. So this is, to me, this is a huge story. This could have been the number one clip today. Education in this country. Are we worried about some of the things that are going on in certain places across the country? There's a woman that's taking legal action against her high school. You want to know why she's taking legal action against her high school? Check out this.
Did you ever think you'd be going to college here?
No, never. Never in a million years.
In some ways, Alicia Ortiz is living an American dream. The 19-year-old began her freshman year at the University of Connecticut in Hartford this fall. She's excited to study public policy, the culmination of hard work after moving north from Puerto Rico as a child.
Do you remember when you first came to Connecticut?
Yes, I remember I was very nervous, but I know it was going to be better opportunities for me to learn.
But Alicia says those opportunities never came to fruition.
Why did the opportunities not come to fruition? You ready?
Even today, could you read this, or would it take you a long time?
It's impossible. I just see his words everywhere.
Alicia graduated from the Hartford public school system last year, but she says today she is illiterate.
Excuse me?
She still doesn't know how to read or write.
And she got into college?
When she was in early education,
they would just either tell me to stay in a corner and sleep.
What?
Or just draw pictures, flowers for them.
And when she was in high school, she relied on speech-to-text programs and other apps to read and write essays.
So, if you had an assignment where you had to write something, you'd open up a document like this and then do what?
I would go here to use the text-to-speech.
It says dictate.
Dictate, yep.
She would do text-to-speech. She can't read or write. She's going to UConn. She got into a college even though she can't read. She's suing the public school district because she can't read. She better win that case. What are they doing? Where else are they doing this? Are they doing this in the state of Florida? No. No. That's an incredible story. I can't believe it. I still can't believe it.
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
Did you know VA home loans are a key to home ownership for those who served?
The first moment I walked into my home, I could hear my footsteps echo off the back wall. The first thing I thought in my head was, man, furniture is going to be real expensive. The VA not requiring any down payment prior to buying the home allowed me to take that money I had budgeted to go out and buy furniture, food, cleaning supplies, pretty much everything I needed. Purchasing a home is scary, but ultimately it's not impossible, and they make it so that anybody can do it.
To learn more, visit va.gov/home loans.
For 25 years, the Library of Congress Veterans History Project has collected and preserved the experiences of America's heroes. From original letters to oral histories, these first-hand accounts bring history to life, one voice at a time. With over 120,000 stories collected, each reveals the courage, sacrifice, and service of our veterans, but many remain untold. Help our nation reach 125,000. Share a story. Ensure a legacy. Visit loc.gov/vets today.
You know, a lot of times you have to choose between something high quality or something that saves you money. But if you could get both, why not? Especially when it comes to healthcare, and that is MediShare. You get both. Many families save $500 a month with MediShare, and that's huge. But it's also true that people wind up way more satisfied, too. The member satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. That's because MediShare works. It has for more than 30 years. It's a community of Christians who have shared more than $5 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth. They love the huge PPO network. So, yeah, really, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price in 2 minutes. Here's the number. Just call 855-SHARE-40. That's 855-SHARE-40. 855-SHARE-40.
When I was 19 and I was going to shows, I was not thinking about permanent hearing loss. I wasn't thinking about tinnitus.
Sometimes my kids are having a conversation with me and that ringing starts in my ear. They're talking to me and I hear their voice, but I can't focus on what they're saying.
The audiologist, he told me that most of his clients are not old people. They're kids that have their earphones in.
I have a lot of regret about not protecting my ears sooner.
Protect your ears at all times, no matter what. It's not something you can get back.
Some journeys start small, with small pause and big purpose.
Look how little fly, you sweet girl.
Every great partnership begins with the first step.
Bella, let's go.
Guiding them through the world so one day they can guide someone through life. With shared experience, confidence grows, and the path becomes clear. It takes time, patience, and love. But the reward lasts a lifetime.
Hey, good girl, Bella.
You don't just raise a puppy. You raise a future. Become a Dogs Inc. puppy raiser. Give a dog a purpose. Give someone hope.
Learn more at dogsinc.org.
Hey, it's Drew Steele. Listen, I've lived in Southwest Florida long enough to know that when I needed countertops, you go to the best. Who's the best? Rock Solid on J&C Boulevard in Naples. First of all, Rock Solid's consultants, I wasn't really sure what I wanted, but I knew that they were knowledgeable, gave me all the information I needed to make the best decision. I love that fabrication is done on premises. It's not like they're subbing out the job to some third party, right? If you're looking for countertops, backsplash, you know where to go. Rock Solid, J&C Boulevard, Naples.
Now, back to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
All right, anytime you want to listen, after hours, Florida's Voice with Drew Steele, the podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, wherever you get it. DrewSteele.com, the website. Steele has 3 E's. You can go there to stream it live and listen 24/7 as well, if that's more convenient for you. And anytime you want to watch it, FL Voice News on YouTube, Rumble, X, Facebook, and Instagram. All right, D, we're going to play a game of true or false. Okay? So are you ready for this? This is how we're going to end the week. True or false? Or even better than that, possible or impossible? I like that better. Somebody sent this to my feed and said, this is impossible. It cannot have taken place. I don't know. As people are talking about sports and they're talking about the Olympics and how we're doing and, the hockey team and figure skating and everything else, sports comes up. And Al Michaels is a very famous sportscaster, right? Al Michaels, I don't know if he still does. He used to do Monday Night Football. I don't know where he is right now, but if he still does games, you know Al Michaels is, right? You don't know who?
Sorry, it was muted, yes.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, Al Michaels. He had this conversation. I don't know how long ago this was. I'm told this was recently, but this was a conversation about how he's 81 years of age. And this is a part of his life that I'm trying to figure out possible or impossible. Check this out.
You have never knowingly eaten a vegetable in your life.
That is true.
That is true.
I was born when my parents were 18 and my mother hadn't even read Dr. Spock at that point. So she just let me have the run of the course. And I always pushed the vegetables away. To this day, no. And I guess what I've proven, Chris, is that man does not need vegetables to survive.
But is it just possible that you would like, I'm thinking of one of the more non-objectionable vegetables, a carrot?
Oh, please.
A carrot?
No, a carrot. No, that's an objectionable vegetable.
I mean, really? What? I mean, how would you know? You've never tasted it.
I look at it. I just don't even like the look of it.
Possible or impossible? Is it possible that Al Michaels, at 81 years of age, has never had a vegetable in his life?
It's possible. But I don't believe it.
Can you go 81 years on this planet and not knowingly? I mean, so some people, like the parents when you're younger, sometimes they blend it up in something and they're like, oh, this is great, it's steak. And then they stick, some veggies in there because the kid won't eat the veggies. But is it possible at 81, you would never once have a vegetable? Of course you could survive without a vegetable. I can't believe it. I can't. I think it's impossible.
I'm inclined to not believe it as well.
Yeah. Which is, I don't know. I just wanted your opinion on it. It's meaningless, clearly. But it is Friday, and we're trying to finish up the program here on a lighter note. And so I thought I would introduce that little nugget because that seems crazy. Although I had another one that is really fantastic. And it was a video of, let me see if I can do this. It's a video Tom Elliott Grabian put together of the evolution of American dictation, as he described it. And you got an AI George Washington and an AI Lincoln. Oh, we don't have enough time to play it. Oh, come on. I was so excited about playing this. And you, just by looking at the video, you could probably guess where it was going. Ow! I'll have to save it for Monday. It's good enough to save for Monday. How about that? All right. We'll see you Monday. Ow!
You're listening to Florida's Voice with Drew Steele.
My name is Corporal Bradley Joseph Seitz.
Jerry Reed.
Kate Weber.
These are real veterans facing a real challenge.